And welcome, YouTube. Yeah, it's a little delayed on the old upshot there, but it's all right. Looks like now. See, it's weird. It shows that we're live on my side, but it's also showing the countdown for the start time.
There it goes.
That's weird. All right. Either way, yeah. Welcome, YouTube. We are here for episode 64.
Hey, yo.
It's a good number. 64. Nintendo 64.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
It took a second for it to click, so I'm like, it's not 69. That's
Let's go ahead and hit the intro and get started.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
You the proud, the geeky.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
All right, hello and welcome to Geekery Abides, episode 64. I almost said 69. Now you put it, you put it in my head, you bastard. All right, yeah. So we are here for episode 64, where the main topic is Superman. Got a little bit of news to cover first, of course, as is usual. Also, I wanted to just throw out there that I've filled in the rest of my dates for the year. You've got two more to fill, but
I got two. Oh, let me go.
Mine are filled out now. So I've got Fantastic Four is technically mine, which is next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got natural disaster films. I think I already called that one out last time.
You did.
I also episode 69 is mine, and so that one I titled Nice, and then in parentheses immature comedies.
Yeah.
So, and then I've got The Conjuring, mainline movies. So the what would it be? Four Conjuring movies, because by that point
The fourth one.
the new one will be
final film came out last month.
yeah. So that comes out
in September.
So by that point,
this will be October's episode.
yeah, that'll be an October episode. Cover all that. Then we're talking Mortal Kombat on JFK Day 11/22. So that's fun, because by that point MK came out the month before that in October. So we could talk about all MK
Mortal
movies.
Kombat 2.
Yeah.
We should clarify.
And then, of course, the 2026 pop culture look ahead for the final episode,
Yeah.
which is pretty standard. So
Kind of see what's coming out in 2026.
yeah, which is huge.
It's a big year.
It's huge. Just like 25 was a huge year. So, yeah. So you got two more to fill in, but otherwise, and I don't have those all put out on YouTube yet, up like pre-scheduled yet.
Yeah.
I will get all that done maybe this weekend, if not certainly soon. So,
So I got one in November and one in December to do.
see. All right, so let's jump on over to emails. If you want to email the show, you could email either of us directly. So I do the odd episodes, Peter does the even episodes. If you want to email either of us directly, you could do that at peter@geekeryabides.com or tad@geekeryabides.com. That is how you contact the show. Probably shoot the message to the host that makes the most sense. If it's something about one of our episodes, probably to us. But if it's like, if it were something about like Harry Potter or something, you'd send it to Peter, which I guess those are your episodes anyway. But
It's actually what I had to call out. I had to pull up my phone just to see who it was from. I got an email from John Egan, who's going to send me an email about Harry Potter movie 3.
Okay.
So.
I
want to call it out, so maybe you'll remember and help remind me to check.
Yeah, John sent me a disaster a disaster film email, and then I also have a Dark Tower email for next episode. So,
Excellent.
Yeah, we got some emails definitely flowing in. Always love that. So let's go ahead and jump on over. Of course, on the YouTube side, if you want to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, all those fun things. Things that if you don't say, Baby Yoda gets punched by Ted Lasso, which you can't have that. So of course, all that fun stuff. And then if you want to, or let's jump on over to watching, reading, playing, I suppose.
Okay. You go ahead and go first.
All right. So mine, let's see. So I finished Malcolm in the Middle, finally.
Hey.
Wrapped that up. So I dove into Poker Face Season 2, which I had kind of fallen off the wagon a tiny bit.
Yeah.
So I've watched all but the final 2 episodes. Last weekend, I finally ran out of time. Also, I started a new watch through of a show that I've only seen a few seasons of, South Park.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm still in the first season, but I've decided, you know what? I watched the first season and a half or so way back in like 96, 97, whatever it was. And I've certainly know how big it's been in pop culture and stuff,
yeah.
but I'm like, you know what? Finally, I'm going to pull the trigger and watch through this fucking show. Of course, saw Superman. Then the day after that, I went and saw F1, the
racing movie.
Brad Pitt movie. Yeah. Second Formula One movie I've ever seen. The first one was with Thor played in it. It was Ron Howard directed.
Ford versus Ferrari?
Rush.
Rush.
Yeah, Rush. It's on my shelf too. And then I did go see Superman again Thursday night. So seen it twice.
That's why you weren't texting back when we were having that conversation in the group chat on Thursday. Okay.
Maybe.
And
then I'm reading The Stand, and then I'm playing. I literally this morning, about an hour before we started recording our last episode, I wrapped up Miles Morales, so I finished 100%ing that game.
So you finished up the DLC for Spider-Man 1. Now you're starting Spider-Man 2.
No, I really actually skipped the DLC for Spider-Man 1. I actually wasn't overly.
You were not a fan of
I wasn't
that
fond
stuff.
of any of those,
Yeah.
actually. I thought they were all pretty terrible. So, but that's it for me.
I have a lot of watching, surprisingly. I finished True Detective Season 3. I did watch that miniseries you told me about, The American Manhunt, Searching for Osama bin Laden.
Oh,
That
nice.
was fascinating. I even texted you about it. It was so good.
Yeah.
Completing my watch through of Phase. That's the word. I wanted to say Generation. Phase 4 and 5. Kind of watching some of the newer stuff again. I watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It came up when we were talking about Superman.
Yeah.
When we left the theater, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness came up, and I realized, damn, I think I've rewatched that once since theaters. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
I've watched it a few times.
Because Hayden was mentioning that he's watched it a bunch, and I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I haven't watched it, so I should rewatch it. So I watched that. I don't know why, but it made me crave Batman Year One, so I went and watched that again. I love one of my favorite animated Batman movies. And since we have natural disasters coming up, I watched Twisters.
Oh, nice.
I also finally watched John Wick Chapter 4.
Ooh.
Have not seen that, so
My favorite John Wick.
John Wick is completed. We might have to put those on the calendar somewhere here.
Yeah.
Of course, I did go see Superman with you, and then I decided finally it's time. I am rewatching one of my all-time favorite series. I am rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the second season right now. Reading, I am rereading The Stand for our other show. We're going to do a couple Patreon hangouts and do The Stand. And then playing, I am playing the game that always sucks so much attention. It's 7 Days to Die. Got a major update at the end of June, and I am playing that and nothing else. I mean, I have not turned on a single other game this entire month.
Yeah.
So, expect to hear that name a lot going forward.
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's jump on over to the news. First up in the news, here's one that I actually forgot last episode. I don't know how I forgot it.
I heard about this.
Mindhunter might be returning in film form.
For multiple films is
So
the thing I read as well.
Holt McCallany, who played Bill Tench in said in late June, quote, "So look, I had a meeting with David Fincher in his office a few months ago, and he said to me that there was a chance it might come back with 3 2-hour movies.
Yep.
But I think there's a chance. I know there are writers that are working, but David has to be happy with the scripts. So this doesn't mean there's any green lights
No
or anything.
green lights. Yep.
What is the sound bite? Where's that? There.
Don't. Don't give me hope.
This is such exciting news for me personally.
I can't trust. There's part of me. It's like I would love to see it. But
I would too.
Yeah,
But there's
because this is probably the one that hurts me the most when people,
Yes.
whenever those things come up about what show would you want to bring back for more. This is it. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing else comes close. There's other ones in the conversation, but every single one of them gets trumped immediately by this show. This show
Absolutely.
is so genius.
It's so personal to me too because season 2 came out, I watched it, I loved it, and then just a few months after that happened, my wife got into True Detective, and I had her watch season 1, of course. and she loved it. She's like, I need more like detective shows like that.
Yeah.
Give me more like that. And I'm like, I want to say Mindhunter, but I can't do that to her.
Yeah.
And so she hasn't watched it.
Yeah.
I might, if they give us a green light, Ted, I might have her watch it.
Zodiac.
Zodiac's a good one.
I keep getting clips for Zodiac recently in my algorithm. I'm
I
like,
watched that this year.
I'm like, I think I need to rewatch that. It's been a couple years.
Oh, I watched it on Paramount Plus, I think is where I saw it.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So,
You would just bust out your what? You probably got like 3 copies of it down there?
I've only got 1 copy.
Yeah.
So,
I doubt that. Sometimes you have multiple copies of the same movie.
not. I mean, some movies, yes, but space is sacred, so not in this case.
That's true.
So next up, George Lucas is making his very first San Diego Comic Con appearance ever.
Wow.
So he's making an appearance to promote his long in the works Lucas Museum of Narrative Arts, which opens up in Los Angeles in 2026. I think it's early 2026. So he'll of course be in Hall H and will be joined with Guillermo del Toro and Lucasfilm legend Doug Chang. And for some fucking reason, Queen Latifah is the moderator.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'll take things out of left field, Alex, for 500.
Yeah,
what the hell, Queen Latifah?
I don't get it, but
Alrighty then.
Still, yeah, pretty cool stuff though. Next up, we have a bunch of Harry Potter stuff, and I just clumped them all into one. First thing is we got our first looks. The production just began, so on the screen now, if you're watching, is the first image of let me see, I have it written down here somewhere. Dominic McLaughlin as Harry Potter. So I said in the headline, filming has now begun. I've seen reports that they have essentially built a real school for all the children to attend while filming. Mm-hmm. Also, it sounds like they're filming season 1 and then taking, quote, a very short break and then beginning to film season 2. The speculation is this might only be like a 2 to 3 month break, far different than what most television does these days. So chances are season 2 might be very quick following, maybe the next year after.
We would hope so with the rate the kids grow. That's one of the
but
things
if they
we've
film
talked
but
about.
not really, because if they filmed it 2 months, it took a couple month break, a 3 month break, call it, and then they filmed season 2. It doesn't matter if they waited 3 years for that season to drop. Like, as long as they get the filming done.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You want to film as fast as possible because we know how fast kids grow.
Yeah, exactly. And then also it sounds like season 1 and season 2 will both be getting 6 episodes each. So that is the episode count. I would assume that would probably carry through all of the books, but I don't know. They've only said the first 2 seasons. So
this is on Max, right?
Yes.
HBO Max.
Yeah,
rebranded again.
Yeah, HBO Max. So I would assume hour episodes. You're talking 6 hours to cover the material, which is over double what you had for the movie.
The movie.
Also, the first season has been confirmed to be debuting in 2027. So
okay.
That is confirmed. And then, of course, the first look images from HBO Max's social media. So, of course, I said Dominic McLaughlin is on the screen now. Let me go find my slide thing so I can click over here. Then we have some casting announcements that are fairly new. I want to see if you can guess just with the actors on screen here. I don't know these characters very well, so I have it written down, but just any guesses for these 4
The top right one is Neville Longbottom.
So that is top left, you said?
Top right.
No. That is Rory Wilmot.
Okay.
Or Rory Wilmot on the left, I'm sorry, is playing Neville Longbottom on the left. Top
on
left.
On the left? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. On the right
is Vincent Crabbe or Gregory Goyle.
No, this is Amos Kittensen playing Dudley Dursley.
Oh, he's going to play Dudley. Okay, that fits.
Which I feel like that kind of that's
fits.
the cousin or whatever, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, yeah. And then any guess? I mean, I don't know who this is, so like
bottom left, I can't tell. Is that a woman?
Yeah,
that's a woman.
Louise Brealey.
Is that Lillian James?
Louise Brealey is the actor's name.
The bottom 2, is that going to be Lillian James Potter? Harry's parents?
No, so this is Madame Rolanda Hooch.
Oh, okay, Hooch, yeah. Okay.
I don't even have any memory of that.
She's in the first movie. She's the one that teaches him how to fly.
Oh, okay.
She's got the white hair, funky looking eyes, and then that's when Neville breaks his wrist.
Oh, okay.
That's Madame Hooch.
Okay.
She's like the I teach you how to fly, and then she also is the referee for the Quidditch matches.
Oh, okay. I can only remember like the hippie-ish one that's all like plant based or whatever.
That's Professor Sprout the
Yeah.
herbology teacher. So the bottom right then, that's got to be Filch.
So this is Anton Lesser, which we all know as what's his name from Game of Thrones. He was Qyburn.
Oh, right.
And then he was also recently Partagast in Andor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's been famous very recently with a lot of stuff. But he is playing Garrick Ollivander.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the wand maker.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that, like the wand chooses the wizard. He's the one that gives Harry the wand. Okay.
So yeah, those are
so some smaller
just
roles.
rounding the cast out as they get close to production here. And then last image we have here is, of course, Nick Frost as Hagrid.
Hey, that looks amazing.
Oh man. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's got apparently some people are not super into it online. Most are loving it, but I guess there's some people that are so on it. I don't know why. Also, it's been confirmed that Voldemort has been cast, but they are keeping that one under wraps until the season premieres. So,
yeah, I heard about that too. That's interesting.
Yeah, so that is what is going on in the Harry Potter realm.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
Next up, that is the wrong pedal. There we go. Allegedly, DC tried to poach Kevin Feige.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So according to the Wall Street Journal, so this isn't a internet blog.
Yeah, someone who's just making things up online to get clout.
Yeah, Warner Brothers attempted to lure Kevin Feige to stabilize the absolute fucking train wreck that was the DCEU in the wake of the Justice League film.
That's an interesting quote from the Wall Street Journal.
That's definitely mine. But that's essentially that's what they're saying though. Is essentially is like they needed to bring stability to the floundering thing that they had there, and so that would have put 2017. So that's quite a ways back.
2017 in
the wake of it. So that would be Thor: Love or Ragnarok was in 2017. So what came out in like 18? Black Panther. I'm trying to think of all the other. I mean, there's a lot
Guardians of the Galaxy. Wait a minute, that's not right.
Oh, I mean, Endgame came out in 19. So, yeah no, there's. I mean, yeah. So
let's see. 2017 had it did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Thor: Ragnarok, and then 2018 was Black Panther, Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 19 was Captain Marvel, Endgame, and Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah. And then everything we've lost had recently would have all been
and then
lost.
everything.
Well, not lost, but it would have not had Feige. So apparently Feige actually took the meeting, but then talks quote fizzled. So,
damn.
Yeah, there's a what if for you.
2017 saw Wonder Woman and Justice League. 2018 was Aquaman. 19 was Shazam.
So I'm kind of wondering. I'm getting the vibe not from this Wall Street Journal thing, but from some other like rumors that allegedly the talks that happened here. The rumor is that basically they said like, well, you can come in and help us stabilize, but everything that's on the table has to stay. So every actor, everything that was already in the pipeline, like essentially he wouldn't have had creative control, right? So like, I mean, and that's just not the way Feige works, right? Like I remember when people were mad that he didn't take Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man,
right?
Because they were just developing that third film, and it's like, no, that's not the way Feige works. Like he's
gonna do his own.
He's resetting entirely.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine that he probably wasn't going to take that job no matter how much money they were going to offer him, which could have been significant. I would love to see what that dollar figure was.
Absolutely.
Because
real fast. I'm sorry, I forgot. My wife is in the chat. She said she's watching Superman, Buffy, Resident Evil, Duly Noticed Streams, Wrestling, reading Misery. She finished it. She's reading Misery.
Excellent.
Playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, Planet Zoo, Package Inspector, and Cooking Life. And then she says that she loves Hagrid and can't wait to see him played by Nick Frost. Sorry, I was slacking on the chat. That's my fault.
Yeah, but the rumors are that basically like everything that was on the table after Justice League had to pretty much stay on the table.
Yes.
And there's no way that he would have done that. On top of the fact
why would you bring someone in like Feige just to have him?
You got to wipe the
make
slate.
Their crap.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Here, Gordon Ramsay, please come into my restaurant and cook.
Come into my McDonald's.
Cook Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, or come into my McDonald's.
Yeah,
you could use anything in this kitchen.
But you have to use it the way that we do it, and you can't change anything.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. So next up, we got Fantastic Four First Steps preview reactions. So there was a promo stop in Brazil where they screened a 30-minute preview of the film with key scenes from the first and second acts, and the reactions that I have here or come out of that. So, quote, world building is incredible. Cool intro to the quartet, their powers, and the looming threat of the Silver Surfer. going on. These are just bullet points here. So next up, quote, the Fantastic Four First Steps might be the best Marvel movie post-Endgame, which I'm kind of getting tired of hearing that because I feel like I hear that about every movie.
If every movie is the best movie since Endgame, then none of them are the best movie since Endgame.
And going on, it feels a lot like The Incredibles. Super fun, colorful, and different from other Marvel films. The Silver Surfer steals the show. So that's pretty cool. Going on.
Interesting. The Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Next one, quote, what was shown not only surprised me, but genuinely moved me. The entire setting of the universe is unique. It's a great gift for the fans. It all starts with the intimacy we're not used to seeing in this type of movie. It feels like we're meeting a real family with vulnerabilities, humor, affection, and purpose. So that sounds great. Next up, the dynamic between Reed and Sue is one of the highlights. We saw many scenes of the two together, and Vanessa and Pedro are in perfect sync, truly conveying the feeling of a couple that's been together for a long time. Their relationship shows right from the start that this movie goes far beyond just showcasing superpowers. Next up on Ben and Johnny, each has a very well-defined personality, and the chemistry between them works from the first moment. The jokes come at just the right time, and you know how it is, Johnny being Johnny.
Sounds like they nailed Johnny then.
Yeah. Then next, the plot has a family-oriented tone, and this becomes clear when the arrival of baby Franklin. This is a pure Fantastic Four. They're not just facing a major threat. Family bonds are at the heart of the story, which that to me sounds like perfection.
Yeah.
Then the last one here, the final sequence of the preview I watched is one of those that makes the entire room hold its breath. The CGI flawless, and the build-up of danger feels real. You sense the weight of what's at stake.
Good.
So yeah, all that sounds incredible.
Sounds awesome.
Love the spirit of it.
No, it doesn't sound incredible. It sounds fantastic.
Or incredible. I mean, that's so far that everyone always says it's the best Fantastic Four movie that's ever been made.
It's The Incredibles.
The Incredibles. I don't know. I've never seen it, but
it's a great movie, Ted.
Yeah, that's
maybe
right.
that's one I should put on the list and start watching kids movies.
No.
Why not?
Then I'm going to do March of the Penguins in January.
That's not geekery.
Yeah, geeking out on documentaries.
No, we don't do documentaries.
And Morgan Freeman does the narration.
Morgan
And what's nerdier than Morgan Freeman?
Are you comparing My Fear of Penguin with you watching a kids movie that you own?
Do I? I don't know.
Yes.
All right. Going on, Matt Shakman, director of Fantastic Four, talks about the Reed Richards casting. Shakman was talking to Variety about the challenge of casting Reed and the layers that the actor has to bring to the role. Quote, he goes from being the nerdy scientist who's locked away in a lab to the husband and the father who'd do anything to protect his family to the guy who's leading the Avengers.
Whoa.
So,
Whoops.
just I'm going to make a pause and just say, Reed has led the Avengers before. I don't know if Matt Shakman is spoiling something down the road for the MCU or if he's looking at it from the perspective of I need to make sure I cast someone that is capable of everything that Reed is in the comics that might be in the MCU.
Okay.
A lot of people are taking this out of context. Oh my God, he'll lead the Avengers. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, by the way. Reed is like I've said it a few episodes ago. I'm like, I think Reed will become our new Tony Stark. What Tony was in the first 15 years of Marvel, I think that Reed could very well be that
Absolutely.
for the next 15. So, but it's just. Yeah, your reaction there is pretty much what everyone on the internet's losing their mind. Like, oh my God, he's going to lead the Avengers, and maybe he's saying that.
Yeah,
though.
instantly knee-jerk reaction is, "Oops, someone slipped." But honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it's exactly what you're saying. Is that he's just trying to make sure that the character
can grow,
can fill those shoes if he needs to. So, pump the brakes a little bit, folks.
Yeah. Next up, and this one I will admit, this is a rumor, and I also don't believe it heavily. So this is allegedly the first act, some leaked details about the first act of Doomsday. So first of all, this is not a regular leaker and has almost no credibility. Then add that to the fact that Marvel has proven that they're leaking shit on purpose to throw everyone off. Mm-hmm. All that to say, just take this with a mountain of salt, and this is more of a fun of the speculation side of things, more than anything. I truly don't believe this, but I think it's kind of fun to think through. So first off, it says Shuri discovers the incursion, collision between universes, and alerts Captain America, Sam Wilson, Wong, Hulk, and Captain Marvel. So I don't know. It doesn't sound far-fetched that Shuri would be the one to potentially catch it. With Wakanda's technology, and she's super, super smart. So, next one, the Fantastic Four arrive on Earth 616 looking for Franklin Richards, who's been kidnapped by Dr. Doom. So that is interesting.
Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on. Didn't the director say that Dr. Doom's not in Fantastic Four?
Yes.
So that happens between movies is what we're saying? Someone's lying to me, Tad.
Also, Galactus is name dropped, and Bucky seeks out Sam for help. I don't know. Some of these things are just added in, which is interesting. Next up, a larger team forms, including Thor, Yelena, M'Baku, Namor, the Fantastic Four. They identify the incoming universe as the one where Monica Rambeau is stranded, also the home of the X-Men.
That would make sense.
That makes sense with the casting chairs. Next up, Doom and Franklin are on that world, setting up a 3-part mission: stop the incursion, rescue Monica and Franklin, and take Doom down. So that's, I mean, which, again, all this, and this is also a shitload of stuff for a first act.
That's a first act?
This is all allegedly all from the first act.
Jesus.
And next up, America Chavez helps open the portals between worlds, though her role is apparently pretty limited beyond that. And then next up, a hero versus hero battle erupts, but it's short-lived. Eventually, both sides realize they're being manipulated by a larger force, Doctor Doom, or a larger force, comma. Then it says Doctor Doom, the TVA, and Loki all come into play, which nothing in this is necessarily out of the ordinary of what we would expect necessarily. Also, some of this also feels so neat to like what the MCU's already set up for us that I just don't know if I believe it. It's just fun to like think through it though. Like it's just, I don't know.
Has the TVA ever mentioned anything about incursions?
I mean, protecting the sacred timelines.
Protect the sacred timeline and everything like that, but two branches smashing into each other and destroying themselves has never been mentioned, has it?
I don't know. I think Loki's would be a big part of it, though.
I'm with you on that. I'm just curious.
And he is the TVA now.
He is the TVA. Yeah, he's the.
Look at me. I am the TVA.
I am the TVA now.
But one wrinkle that's interesting and goes to your theory, trusted scooper Daniel Reichman, I slid this in here. This is separate from all this, and he's more trusted, has said, quote, they are currently filming a scene taking place on the Fantastic Four's Earth. And he says like a baseball game, which I don't know what the fuck that means.
So they have a different sport, but it's not a baseball game, but it's like it.
I don't know. I don't know what that last part confuses me about what he's actually trying to say.
They're playing kickball.
I don't know. But it goes to your theory that potentially their world may not be doomed. I don't know. We'll see though. Next up, we've got a rumor that I never thought wasn't a thing. Rumor that apparently Nick Fury is going to be in Doomsday. I guess I just never thought he wouldn't be. It's Nick Fury. Of course he'd be in it.
They've never mentioned Sam, have they?
But I'd be kind of shocked if he wasn't. This comes from very reliable scooper Alex Perez. This is just a rumor at this point, but I guess until this moment, I guess I've never even considered that he wouldn't be in it.
Honestly, Nick Fury hasn't even crossed my mind for Doomsday or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, he was in Secret Invasion. It just kind of bleh. So,
yeah, but he also disappeared for times earlier on and then showed back up for Avengers movies.
Yeah, he was in the Marvels, right?
Yes.
Because the whole cat thing.
Yeah.
So that's the last time we saw him. So it's just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Next up, apparently there is plans for a rumor that Hugh Jackman has some post-Secret Wars plans.
Okay.
So according to a moderately reliable scooper, My Time to Shine H, Hugh Jackman will appear as Wolverine in the next Deadpool movie, which means Secret Wars is not going to be his swan song. That's been a rumor that's been going around that'll be the end of it for him. But
that was one of the things. I don't want to misquote you, but you believe that all the X-Men are just dead.
Yes, I do think that the way that things have been talking, because Hugh was pretty much retired from the role.
Right.
He came back for Deadpool and Wolverine, but it sounds like after Deadpool and Wolverine, he was so revitalized on the role that there has been some rumors even that he may be willing to sign up for another 10, 15 years of this.
Until you're 90.
So that rumor kind of already had me thinking that. So this isn't earth-shattering for me that Hugh is going to be beyond.
But you
Secret
think a
Wars.
lot of the X-Men, if not all of them, aside from Wolverine, are.
Yeah, and even him, I think it might be kind of a weird pairing with Deadpool more so than I don't know that he's going to be the Wolverine for the MCU if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my theory though. Next up, The Last of Us season 3 isn't coming anytime soon. Variety recently interviewed HBO Max's content chairman Casey Bloys, and he said, quote, the series is definitely planned for 2027. So not next year. Craig is still working it out whether it will be 2 more seasons or 1 long season. It hasn't been decided yet, and I'm following Craig's lead on that. So we've heard some rumors. We had that one creative person, not Craig or anyone, lower level, that said that they thought they need 2 more seasons to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. But now this quote kind of maybe recontextualizes that of maybe instead of 2 seasons, it'll be 1 longer season.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to make something if you don't know how long to make it,
Yeah.
And especially like you said, Craig's busy.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Next up, just a nerding moment. Mortal Kombat 2 trailer dropped. I mean, in fact, 2 trailers technically, because there was the fake Johnny Cage trailer that dropped, which, by the way, give me 3 fucking actual movies filmed in that style. Just give me shitty Johnny Cage movies, dude. I would sign me up for that.
You
That
would go and
that
see
would
them
be-
in theaters?
100%. 100%. But the MK2 trailer just looked fucking incredible to me.
Carl
just-
Urban is Johnny Cage.
Carl Urban, finally seeing him in action. We've seen pictures of him and stuff. The costumes are dead on. Like, he's wearing like MK11 costume at one point where it's just dead nuts exactly what he is in there. Looks like, I mean, there's been some people kind of like, man, are we just going to play the whole like explaining to the new person the Mortal Kombat premise again? We just did that in the last movie.
Yep.
Now we're doing it with Johnny. I'm not sure if that'll be the case. I think he might definitely be the more grounded guy that's like, I don't know what's going on here. But no, this looks incredible. Looks great fights. I mean, the costumes all look great. There were some maps directly from the games that were on there that looked beautiful. Like, I'm very,
we
very-
saw a fatality too.
yeah, fatality. Shao Kahn looks incredible. Just good stuff. All I'm gonna say.
Just hook it to my veins!
Any thoughts on your side?
I think it looks great. I mean, Johnny Cage was my favorite from the original movie.
Oh, really?
Liu Kang's great, but I never took with like the whole Destiny thing. I thought Johnny Cage was a loudmouth, funny guy, which
Yeah.
I don't know why I would associate with a character like that. I don't know why anyone would think that, but
Yeah.
you know. So
Those are $500 glasses, asshole.
those are $500 glasses. Asshole drops down and just right nut punch.
Yeah.
Right to Goro's nuts.
I'm super looking forward to this. So yeah, very, very excited.
Yeah, I think it looks great. It's
And Carl Urban can do anything.
I mean, it's Carl Urban, for
Yeah.
God's sakes. I was like, I know that voice when the Johnny Cage trailer came out. I'm like, I know that voice, and then I forgot to look it up.
Oh,
And then the Mortal Kombat trailer came out. I'm like, that's fucking Carl Urban.
yeah. Oh, I love it. Good stuff. Next up, if I can get it to change, there we go. The Paper, the Office spinoff, is coming in September.
Hey.
So the Paper will premiere on September 4th with 4 episodes dropping. After that, expect 2 episodes every Thursday through the 25th.
Where
So-
is this one again?
on Peacock.
Peacock. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then let's go ahead and jump on over to, wrong one. There we go. Some DC side of things, which there's a lot. So James Gunn allegedly killed a greenlit DCU project. Going back to how Gunn is going to run the DCU, he told the NPR, quote, "We had a movie that was greenlit. We got the second draft and the third draft, and it just wasn't changing. It wasn't getting better," Gunn explained. It was staying in the same place, and I said, we can't make this film. We can't. It's just not good. We know it's not good. Just because we have a good director attached and a good screenwriter, it doesn't mean the script is working. Everyone is going to be upset at the end of this. It's going to come out, and the movie's not going to be good. The director's going to look bad. The screenwriter's going to look bad, and we're going to look bad. So I don't want to have this. We're not going to make this movie, and so we killed it.
Do we know what?
No telling what it is. So
Okay.
yeah, no, it's kind of interesting though. I mean, it sounds good to me.
I appreciate him not just throwing everything at the fan and throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, 100%.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, this one you might enjoy. 3 superhero moments that James Gunn never wants to see again.
I've heard this. I can tell you the 3 because I've heard this as well.
So James Gunn told the Times, there are 3 things I don't ever need to see again in a superhero movie. I don't need to see the pearls in the back alley when Batman's parents are killed.
I would get down and kiss James Gunn's feet.
Yeah, indeed.
If I ever meet him, I will get down and kiss his feet for saying that because, oh my God.
Yeah, we even saw the Joker movie, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
We can't even get away from it there.
Nope.
Next, he goes on and says, I don't need to see the radioactive spider bite Spider-Man again, and I don't need to see baby Kal-El coming from Krypton in a little baby rocket. He says, we watched a million movies with characters who don't have their upbringing explained. Like when we see Good Night and Good Luck, we don't need to know the early life of Edward R. Murrow to explain how he became a journalist. Who cares?
Yeah.
And hallelujah, man.
Yeah.
Just you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
And I get with superheroes, I would say it's a slight bit different, just because a lot of times those moments are the things that truly define who they are as a hero, right?
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different than Edward R. Murrow, but at the same time, I take his meaning, and I think with those 3 specifically, they've been done so many times. I don't think you need to show it again.
I bet you I could tell. It'd be hard pressed to find someone on this planet who doesn't know what happened to Batman's parents.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty hard to find someone.
If not, I'm sure they can find like 12 YouTube videos of 12 different fucking iterations of it being shown. So,
I wonder how many times it has been shown.
including animated.
Oh God. Oh God.
Also, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Playing Miles Morales, one thing hit me. I am not overly fond of one aspect of that. The fact that he gets bit by a spider that Norman Osborn had bred is not good. Because that means that Norman's got a lab that he could potentially make as many Spider-Men as he wants.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it should be, I guess. That almost, I don't know. It hit me this last playthrough. I was like, wait a minute. And even though that happens in the first game, but I was playing the Miles Morales one, I was thinking back to it, and I'm like, wait. If he has maybe he doesn't know that he's created it. I would just have liked him to have done something to show that spider had something different. Like maybe like the fucking devil's breath got it or something happened to like to make that different than the rest of his lab things. Because I'm like, you can't have Norman having the ability to make his own Spider-Man. Like that is not good. Next up, we got more DC news. Wonder Woman allegedly is being fast-tracked over Superman 2. This is according to Variety.
Oh.
Quote, although Warner Brothers has sequel options for Corn Sweat and Brosnahan, a sequel announcement does not appear to be imminent. Instead, sources say the studio is fast-tracking a Wonder Woman movie, and the studio is thrilled with Matt Reeves' just submitted screenplay draft for the sequel to the Batman. So that's great. I mean, I'm fine. I don't need like an immediately quick Superman 2. I know we'll get one. And honestly, we do need to get more pieces on the board. So Wonder Woman and stuff, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Next up, we got some Clayface details.
Yes.
So Tom Rise Harries is playing Matt Hagen, but they are merging multiple Clayface incarnations into this, and so they are merging some elements of Basil Carlo of his origins into Hagen's story here.
Yep.
It is reported that, quote, that Hagen is a handsome up-and-coming actor who is attacked and disfigured. Originally from Gotham, he moves to Hollywood to escape his troubled past and begins a career as an actor. With his disfigurement, his career and outlet as an actor is ruined and eventually transforms into the shape-shifting monster. The film is a body horror movie. In the body horror movie territory, it is being called a horror movie with a broken soul at the center of it. To put a finger on it, it's being called, quote, a character-driven horror movie, which that sounds a lot like a Mike Flanagan
Absolutely
movie.
it does.
So, also a brand new character called Dr. Caitlin Bates is part of the film, and quote, Bates is a CEO of a biotech startup seeking to create a cutting-edge medicine that helps medical technology. Bates sees Hagen as a way to grow her company and cure his condition. Throughout the process, she falls in love with him while her fiance John grows suspicious of their relationship. John is a detective and committed to Caitlin and his job. The antagonist of the film is set to be a crime boss who, like Caitlin and John, is another original character. Next up, James Gunn said to CBS Mornings, and then we got Clayface, which is a totally different thing. Although it's in the same universe, it's a complete horror movie. That's one thing that we want to do. There is no company style, and it's not like every movie is going to feel like Superman. And then also James Gunn said on the DCU, the artist and the director and the writers, they are going to be the ones that create each thing and will bring their own sense to each thing. So
Yeah.
that all sounds great. I mean, I am far more interested in Clayface now than before I read all that. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, I actually want to stop right there for a second because I had this pegged for like the Superman discussion,
Okay.
but since we're talking about it now, the quote that I took, you actually just read part of it. This movie is very different from talk about Superman.
Yeah.
It's very different from the R-rated movie we're making, a body horror movie with Clayface. It's very different from the Sergeant Rock movie
I'm not sure on that
we're
one.
developing. It's very different from Supergirl, which is a space fantasy. So the three movies he said there, Sergeant Rock, very different, doesn't say what style though. Clayface, body horror rated R, for sure, confirmed. And then Supergirl's a space fantasy. So with that in mind, what are some tones, and are there any certain heroes or villains that you would want to see in a specific style of movie? I know it's kind of like main topic kind of thing, but since we're talking about Clayface here, I thought this would be a good spot to talk about it.
Yeah, I am not sure because you know me, I'm not necessarily a big fan of villain movies.
Sure.
And I don't know enough of the DC characters to be honest with you.
All right, so if
like
you're gonna yeah.
I would be looking at like the bigger characters,
like Wonder Woman.
Like I don't know what
we just mentioned Wonder Woman. What kind of movie do you think that would?
Wonder Woman or Flash or whatever. Like I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know because
I think Wonder Woman would make a great period piece.
Yeah, I mean they already did that.
They
so,
did that
like,
with
and it
World War
worked.
One, but it was like modern times. Give me an ancient Rome Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I mean, could be, but I think if they're trying to connect it to this whole world, but also the other thing too is it said centuries ago metahumans arrived on Earth,
Exactly.
so it's like that may not even get all the way back that far. Centuries. I mean, I feel like I don't know. What did it say? 3 centuries ago or
4.
no? I think 3 because everything in that opening thing was 3.
3s, that's right.
So
3 hours ago,
3
3
century,
minutes ago,
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm just not enough of a DC fan.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Superman's my main guy. I feel like Batman kind of takes care of himself. I'm not particularly interested in a lot of villains. Like, they're
So
doing
you
their own
got
thing.
you got guys like
Clayface, like
Clayface.
Like the only reason I'm even interested there is because what like Flanagan wrote it, and then it does sound very Flanagan-esque, and I'm a horror fan, so like as a horror guy, like
There you go.
if they're gonna do other horror stuff, like I would probably be down no matter what it is, right?
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
What about a heist movie? A DC heist movie?
I mean, heist movies are always good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I just at this point now, I know we're jumping a little bit to like the main topic, but I do think that ultimately at this point, I trust James Gunn. Whatever,
In Gun We Trust?
yeah, whatever he's doing, I'm
Gotcha.
down for. So,
I think Cyborg would be a good hacker kind of movie. You know, kind of like Swordfish.
yeah,
Action
like
hacking.
yeah, or like a Mr. Robot type
Yeah,
thing.
something
potentially.
along those lines would be great for Cyborg.
Yeah,
I think that would be
maybe a
great-
Robin movie for Hayden.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, like a I
Dick
don't know.
Grayson kind of movie.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd make for him. It definitely has to be tragedy,
Like a
right?
coming of age tragedy kind of.
Maybe
like,
it's just like a freak showish type thing where it's them with him with the circus traveling the thing. At the end, they
Oh.
all get massacred.
oh, and he's the only survivor, and then
Yeah.
Bruce comes out.
Yeah, could
That'd
do
be
some,
good.
could do something like that just for Hayden, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And then the last one we got here is DCU roadmap for the future. This is according to the Wall Street
Yeah.
Journal. The report is on a long-term goal of the DCU, which will culminate in a Justice League movie. Also, the Gunn and Safran's vision for the DCU is to have a consistent release schedule of 2 live-action films and 1 animated film per year, along with multiple TV series, with the design to slowly and steadily bring DC's most iconic heroes back into the spotlight. So it sounds like they won't have the same limitations on TV, for instance. I will also say I'm more interested now to watch Peacemaker, especially because like that's going to be the next step is season 2,
Yep.
and like that might unravel some things. So like suddenly I'm like maybe I should throw that first season on.
It's not bad.
So-
It's not. I'll say, it's not fantastic,
Yeah,
but it is pretty good. And Gunn was involved with it, so
yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the main topic, which of course is Superman. So
we're gonna need that much time to talk about this movie. Wow. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we
for,
are
for sure. And also, it's not like I was cutting news either.
No.
There's plenty of news, but I don't know. There's a lot of it was DC. We covered. I will say there was a good chunk of news that I basically moved into this because it's Superman related. So and that's I'll only necessarily hit on it if it's part of what we need to talk about for the conversation.
For sure. Okay. Well, you're the Superman fan, sir. Look at that shirt right there. I had to wear Superman's best friend's shirt because I don't own a Superman shirt. So, I'm wearing a Batman shirt.
Yeah. I mean, where do you want to start?
You're the nerd. You're the Superman nerd, sir. Go ahead. Tell me what I want to hear.
I mean, I don't remember if I said it outside the theater, but I feel like this is the Superman movie that I've been waiting for my whole life.
Yep.
Christopher Reeve, the first 2 Christopher Reeve movies are like all-time greats. And I still think
Both came out before you were born.
yeah, both came out long before I was born. So, just this, and that's not to say that like I haven't enjoyed, like I love Superman Returns in 06 and stuff. So like, whatever, but like this is ultimately like, this is a perfect Superman movie, essentially.
Okay.
So
for everyone out there who doesn't understand what a Superman movie is, Tad, tell me why you say that.
so I do have some bullet points I have a little bit further in. Let me see. So I guess what encapsulates the absolute perfection for me is I have a bullet point here that just says heroism and empathy. So I think the absolute ultimate example is, and of course, spoiler alerts for the entire
Obviously,
film.
yes. If you haven't seen Superman, please don't.
So
We are going to be talking major spoilers.
yeah, so we're after about midway through the film, Superman tells Lois he's going to go turn himself in because there's an arrest warrant out for him. And she's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And he said, maybe they'll take me where they took the dog. And she's like, she said something about the dog. And he's like, yeah. Or she's like, all that for a dog? He's like, yeah, and he's not really a good one either. But he's alone and he's probably scared.
Yeah.
And like that right there in a fucking nutshell in one goddamn line is Superman. And that is what
it's the right thing to do.
well, and it's the empathy. Like that's what it comes down to is like he's literally turning himself in because there's a chance that he'll get taken where Crypto is. And Crypto, he doesn't necessarily overly like Crypto. Crypto's a bad dog.
Yeah.
And it's not his dog either.
We find that out at the end of the film that it's not. Yeah,
he says it earlier in the film too. He's like,
does he?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's not really mine. It's more of a what is it? Not adoption. What's fostering? Maybe is the right word he uses.
Yeah.
Like temporary when you like have something for a temporary period.
That's fostering.
Yeah, it's more of a foster thing, is what he says earlier in the film, and of course it pays off at the end or whatever.
Yeah.
But also a couple other bullet points I had underneath this one. He saves a fucking squirrel. For God's sake. I mean,
he saves a dog. He saves a squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah, he does save the dog too. I forgot about that.
The other dog. Yeah.
So his cry of remorse when the waffle vendor guy is executed, as well as the tear, like it obviously hits Metamorpho quite hard too.
Yeah.
That's almost his kind of origin
But
story.
also even
but for
like-
Superman, it's like his cry of anguish. This isn't someone he knows. This is someone he's interacted with twice in his life, and just like passing type thing, like oop, bumped into someone type thing you would in your normal life.
Yeah.
So this isn't like this isn't Lois Lane, but he's reacting in a way as though like Lex just shot Lois Lane.
That was a human life, though, and that's how sacred life is to Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even you see that with like the kaiju monster.
Yeah.
Is like he's like, no, we got to see if we can remove it and safely study it. And Mr. Terrific's like, dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Helping the lady who's having a panic attack during that scene.
Yeah.
He saves her out from under its feet, or when it's falling, I forget which one. But the Asian lady swoops her up to the roof and then doesn't just drop her off and leave, but he realizes she's having a panic attack, and he helps her like through that.
Yep.
Checking with the people in the building that everyone's all right before he continues the fight. And I'm not necessarily trying to dunk on
Snyder
on a film I will not mention.
Okay.
But ultimately this is things that were not there, and that's why I've been saying since 2012 or whatever it was that it was not a good Superman movie, because it wasn't even a Superman movie.
Yeah.
Like I don't and the Justice League and Batman vs Superman, like Superman was never given a good shot. I love Henry Cavill. There was one moment in the theatrical version of Justice League where I was like, oh my God, this guy is a good Superman. And it was the podcast scene where the kids are like confronting him at the very beginning and asking if they could be on their podcast. He's just smiling and talking with them. It's a brief moment, split seconds, but that's it. And that was enough for us. Like, oh my God, he's not a bad Superman. He's just been given nothing but shit to do with this role the entire time. So, also wanted to save the kaiju. You kind of mentioned that.
Yep.
Also super nerdy, the fact he mentions an intergalactic zoo.
Yeah.
Because he at certain points in the comics has an intergalactic zoo.
That's
in
where
his
the starfish is, right? The one that takes over people.
I mean, he has that.
That's in his zoo at one point, and then it gets out and starts taking over people. I remember that.
Yeah, so that's a cool comic call in as well, but also wanting to save it, or if nothing else, euthanize it in a less painful way. Also embracing the children, the post the kaiju. Like everyone else is going to talk to the media, and he's like hanging with the kids. Like there's something about that is Superman. And then also the scene from, I mean, it was in the trailer, right? But with the interview with Lois Lane, people were going to die.
Yeah.
Like nothing else matters. Like that, it doesn't matter. He doesn't give a fuck about the politics
or the borders or the countries or the rules or anything like that.
Yeah. There's one I saw that I think perfectly encapsulates it. And I think it was like a podcast or something I saw a clip of that was basically saying as a kind of an analogy, where Batman might be more of a cop, Superman's a firefighter. Yeah. He doesn't give a fuck about the laws, whatever. All his only fucking concern is saving people.
If he has to property damage a building to get people out, he's going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas,
he'll knock down a
whereas
wall.
Batman is a lot more about like law and order and like reining
Justice.
shit in and justice. Superman's about justice too. Obviously, it's in his little thing, which isn't in this movie. But ultimately, but again, it's just kind of like just a good analogy where it's like you kind of know what cops are and firefighters are. They're very different people. That's why there's sometimes even a static between the two, right? And it's like, and I think Superman is just a firefighter. That like his only concern is helping people. So
My wife says I really can't say much more than this movie, other than that it was amazing.
yeah, it was just incredible. Like, and honestly, it felt to me also just stepping back now from like, you know, because again, that was just my bullet point for heroism and empathy. But I think that just overall, this honestly felt like a episode of the Superman animated series. Like, it just multiple things going on, like, and it never felt overcrowded.
No.
But it just felt like this is what Superman goes through. Allegedly, there's some early screenings that happened. Apparently, early on, they had something where it would actually cut, and the movie took place over the course of a week. And it was like broken up where it was like Monday and then Tuesday and then like, and it just went through a whole week, and they cut that. And I'm actually kind of glad, because I think that feels clunky-ish, and I don't think you need it. But I think like there is an element of like, this isn't a normal week for Superman, but this is a week of Superman's life, you know, type thing. So, you know, but like just the fact you're dealing with all these different things, like the Justice gang is involved. You've got, I mean, there's all kinds of shit going on. And so it just felt like the Superman animated series in the best kind of way for me. So, and it captured Superman perfectly, I think, like both writing and then acting. We haven't dove into like the actors yet, but I will say that David has done an incredible job. David Cornsweet. The thing I find interesting is what I always say is, like, with Batman, you guys have never had a definitive Batman. Like, I feel like anyone can come to that role and bring something to it. And like, I don't think, I mean, of course there's some that would argue, you know, Christian Bale's my Batman, you know, Michael Keaton's my Batman, whatever. But it's like, it's per person. But I feel like in the Superman fandom, like there's a lot of Supermen that you could love, because there's been a lot of actors that have played it and a lot have done a great job. But there's one.
Christopher Reeve.
It's Chris's role. Everybody else just borrows it.
Yep.
And that's just the way it is. So it's just a matter of, as I come into like a movie like this, it's like he'll never top Reeve, because there's just no way to do that. Like, and it's not like a shitty thing, like boomerish thing where it's, oh, fuck everyone else. Like, it's only my guy from the 1970s.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's just a matter of like, I think there's also part of it that Superman, the motion picture, was also like one of the first comic book movies ever made. And to this day, you still see comic book movies that take DNA aspects from that movie. It's so ingrained in the foundation of comic book movies that it's like, that adds to it as well. And then Chris was just such a good person too, that like, I feel like off screen, he felt like Superman. Like, he embodied that in a way.
I saw a clip of him calling out Marlon Brando.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Where he's on a talk show and he's just like, yeah, he's not a good person.
Yeah.
He's like, he has a chance.
He's not a leader.
Yeah, he has a chance to do so much good, and he just doesn't do it. And he just to see that, I'm like, that is such a Superman thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's what Christopher Reeves was.
Yeah. And so I think that, like, I always have that in mind. And again, it's not that like I wouldn't love for someone to come and just own that role in a way to where it like takes it from Chris. I just don't think that's possible. Like, I just think that it's like such a deeply ingrained thing at this point that it's like, it's kind of like when you watch like sports, it's like, you know, there's great hitters, there's hitters that beat Babe Ruth stuff, but it's still Babe Ruth that people talk about as the greatest.
There's still you still point like the Babe did, you know.
Yeah. It's just, and I think that's that kind of thing with Chris. And it's not to say that there won't, you know, using that baseball analogy, it's not to say there won't be hitters that could even surpass him in certain ways.
Yeah.
And they have. One has. I'm not giving credit to someone else, but ultimately, like, you know, David, though, I will say again, I've loved most Supermen that I've seen on screen, but I do think that David. And I think part of it is the writing too. I think that's where it gets into the realm of like, you know what, I just blanked on his name, Cavill. You know, I think that's where it kind of hurt him, is he just never had good material to work with.
Right.
And this is just a perfect merging of, I think David brought everything he needed to, and then James wrote nearly a perfect movie. I mean, this is just this is exactly what we needed, not only for like to launch the DCU, but also I think this is the perfect thing we need for the world we live in right now in 2025, and also, you know, it also just embraces, it's what Superman needed, because like I feel like Superman is, I mean, even like I like the 2006 Superman Returns, but it's like people can look at that and say it's kind of down. Like, it's kind of got a downer note to it. It doesn't feel as hopeful. It feels like it's trying to be a spiritual sequel to the Donner movies. So I think that like people love them love it for that.
Yeah.
And people love Brandon Routh, but it's like it didn't do as well. And you know, whatever. But it's like, this is just the perfect everything. This just feels like everything that should have happened was perfect. So yeah, David absolutely killed it, and he had the perfect material. So yeah, wonderful Superman. I'm very excited to see more of him across the board.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then his you mentioned it during your speech, which I loved, is that the other thing also that happened with David is that his performance with others nailed it. The
Yeah.
relationships with like Lois, with the Justice Gang,
Yeah.
with Luther especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Him and Nick, I'll call it right now. I have some bromances that I absolutely love. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds is up there.
Yeah.
Just the way that those two are with each other. Nick and David might be top 3, if not my top bromance right now. Seeing those two in interviews and stuff like that, the way that they were...
Did you see the lie detector one?
Yes, exactly. Like, they did a lie detector test. Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, where they did, like, the glasses,
The
like,
cups.
strongly agree, strongly disagree.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. It's phenomenal to see how
And it's
David
going to
was able
happen,
play
right? Because
with
these
him. Yeah.
these people work for months and months and months on the same film. If they're like big actors like Ewan and Hayden, like they're the main part of the movie, so they're going to be spending. I mean, if they're filming for 6 months, like they're almost roommates for 6 months. Like
Right.
that's going to build a relationship. But yeah, I did have a note on that. Did you watch the full thing for
I've only seen clips of
which
it. Like,
what clips did you see?
I saw the one where Nick asked him if he would rather play a Jedi or Superman in a sequel.
That's
That one, he's like a Jedi. He's
Yeah.
like, dude, he's such a Star Wars nerd. I can't wait for him. He's got to end up in Star Wars, right?
yeah. I mean, he's going to be busy
Down
but
the
yeah.
road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, did you, one of my favorite little bits of trivia that I've seen from some of the interviews. Did you know where James Gunn discovered
David?
David?
Yeah, it's the one you sent. The one where he gets impaled.
Yeah, it's Pearl.
Pearl.
The X, the movie X. Pearl was like a prequel to it.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. So I love that it was a horror movie because again, James is just
Why is it that great actors get found in horror movies? Like, there's a lot of them.
yeah, no, that's true too.
Johnny
But
Depp,
also,
Johnny Depp, Kevin Bacon, Jamie Lee Curtis, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey was in.
McConaughey.
Yeah, no, it's legit. But I think it's, I mean, probably because they're low budget and like it's easy to sometimes get roles for a younger actor. But I also think that James is just such a horror fan that
Yes.
like it's just apropos that he finds David in a freaking horror movie. But yeah, the Superman versus a Jedi thing was great. I mean, there's also that video from like 2015 of David in like the car, and he's like going through and like doing out the whole tail end of A New Hope, with like the Luke,
like word for word.
yeah, word for word. And they have videos where they edit it and showed like that he's pretty much not just like word for word, but he's also nailing the timing on it all. And it's like, dude, yeah, he's definitely a nerd 100%. I also saw a thing with Gunn where he basically had 3 actors for each of the I don't remember if I think it was 3 for Superman and Lois. Mm-hmm. So he had 6, 3 for each, and he's like, I loved all 3, and he's like, it really came down to like reading them with each other to find like the chemistry
yeah.
and stuff. Because Nicholas was actually one of the Superman too,
Yeah, he did audition for Superman.
and he was one of the 3.
He mentioned that.
So, yeah. So, and he's like, I was heartbroken to have to, go like pick where I did because like the ones you lose.
Yeah.
He's like, but it really came down to like, David and Rachel's chemistry was great. So, but yeah, David did incredible. Rachel did insanely good too. I feel like she did. I mean, it's hard for me because I feel like the hard part with Lois Lane is I don't know that like any of the previous one. There's been good Loises over the years for sure, but I'm not sure that there's one that I would like point to as a definitive like the absolute best Lois Lane.
Like Christopher Reeve for Superman.
Yeah,
There's not one for that
it's
Lois.
just exactly. It's not there as much. I will say that she did capture me even in the trailers. I just feel like there was like a swagger to her that just worked. And I think that I love that like her gumption to like go and confront the Justice Gang, and then like she also figures everything out with like the pictures, like, so you've got the smarts, you've got like the metal that comes with her, you've got like she doesn't pull any punches with the reporting side of things, like all of that.
Even when she was interviewing Superman, which is her boyfriend, really.
Yeah.
She still didn't pull punches. She's still a reporter first.
Yeah, and the fact that she like
that's the one thing I've never really seen with like any of the other Loises, and I haven't watched nearly as much Superman as you.
Yeah.
But any of the other Loises don't feel like that hardball reporter.
Yeah.
She's a little bit more of the,
Well-
I interview Superman.
Yeah, there's times they can play her as like very smitten
Yes.
by Superman, and which is fine because that's part of the
Yeah.
relationship too. But like, I feel like even like when you look at like the Margot Kidder in the original movie, like she's very smitten with Superman, and like I will say that whole scene with them on the balcony, they have kind of desexualized superhero movies to this extent where it's like superhero movies don't get made that are that horny anymore. Because
Yeah.
that whole thing, like when he looks through and sees her underwear
Yep.
color and shit, like and there's just a horniness to that, and that's the 70s, and like honestly, I think it's a bad thing that we've lost that in movies across the board because I feel like you also just don't
Sure.
see as good of love stories in like I mean Terminator, the original Terminator. There's great love story there. You
Yeah.
don't see things like that, but it's like because a lot of times movies are we don't want to do a sex scene and like.
Yeah, we don't want a love interest.
Yeah, it's like what? Like
Or we want a love interest, but we're going to pay very little into it.
yeah.
Spend very little time building it. It's just going to be there.
So I think that with all of these actor kind of reviews, I would say that I've got to give James a ton of credit
Yeah.
because it comes down to the writing too, right? Because it's like it's how do you write Lois? Like if she is written to be more smitten, it's like then that's what Brosnahan's gonna do, right? So it's
Yeah.
like like all the compliments I would pay to the actors, like James gets equal or even greater credit because
You
it's
got to
like
have good stuff to act out.
for one, James has to pick the people, but then two, you've got to have the right script to
Exactly.
allow those people to really fulfill the stuff. So I will say that I'm not going to make anything definitive with Lois, but I will say that Rachel might be one of my favorites,
She was great.
like of all time. Like she just
Yeah.
because again, I think they did a perfect like merging of all the elements of Lois, and they did it in like a 2-hour movie, right? Like it's not even like an overly long movie. I don't feel that Lois was even like necessarily like on screen too much, like, but like they like I feel like with every second they gave her, she just nailed it.
Yeah.
I love her Mr. Terrific scene too in the bubble.
That is a great scene. That's one that's definitely going to be in my YouTube rewatch, like carousel.
Yeah.
Where it comes back around, it's like, yeah, I need to watch that again.
Yeah.
Just turn on that scene.
Yeah, and then Nick.
Oh man, Luther was. he was so good. He was so. Good.
I feel like I'm just dominating, so you can go ahead and say some stuff as well. I have some stuff to say. I
Yeah.
guess if you have what more do you have any more to say on David or Rachel?
I mean, I think that David was fantastic because not only did he have like the thing I feel like that was definitely missing from the Snyderverse was the characters themselves having the humor. Like there was funny moments. Flash is pushing a truck and Superman carries a building.
Yeah,
Like that's funny.
yeah,
But where's the moment where Superman makes a joke at Batman's expense?
yeah,
Where's the moment where Flash makes fun of, Superman, that kind of stuff?
yeah.
That's-
Or they all make fun of Aquaman.
Or they all make fun of Aquaman because they all make fun of Aquaman because it's Aquaman.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
It's Aquaman.
So
It's the worst.
that especially that end credit scene with Mr. Terrific was like one of the most perfect things for me because the most I know about Superman is the animated show because I watched Batman the animated series so much as a kid. And Superman was either right before it or right after it. I can't remember
Yeah.
where the time slot fit here,
Yeah.
especially on reruns and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But there was also crossover episodes with Superman. And
yeah,
the thing that I missed, man, Superman's a funny guy.
yeah,
Like, he would make jokes when beating the shit out of people
yeah.
just because he knows he's invulnerable to their bullets and their
Yeah.
punches and everything. So
Yeah, and he's a Kansas boy, right? He's a farm boy.
He's got a sense of humor. So to see
Yeah.
that, like, gosh, I'm just such a jerk sometimes at the end. And it's like,
Yeah. They didn't reveal in the trailers that she knew he was Superman, did? Oh no, yeah, the interview, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it was the first teaser. It was like ambiguous.
Yes.
What was going to happen there? So the humor, and again, that somewhat goes to Gunn too to write that in.
Yeah.
But I think David did a perfect job with it for sure of handling that.
Yeah. Also, Gunn's humor is definitely, some people don't like it. I think
But I feel like it was muted for this movie, don't you?
I feel like he did the perfect amount of Gunn humor for this one. I felt like there was a lot more going on than just stupid jokes.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that's the problem with Gunn's movies. All it is stupid jokes. And I'm like, there's more to it. But
Yeah.
in this one, there absolutely was just,
And
it was
that-
phenomenal.
That's been the hand wringing in the Superman fandom for the last couple of years is like, oh, we can't have a Superman movie that's just like a Guardians of the Galaxy. And I've been say
Why?
I'm like I trust Gunn enough that he's not going to make Superman a Guardian. He's not going to take what he did with Guardians and apply that to Superman, because those are different things. And it's like, so I'm not saying that like the fingerprints of James Gunn won't be on this movie, but it's like we're not gonna watch this and be like, oh yeah, this is exactly like Guardians, because like those are radically different things, you know. But then like the Suicide Squad didn't really help because that was so similar to Guardians that he could kind of do the same thing, and people are, oh man, is he just a one-note guy? And like I'm like, no, if you watch Scooby-Doo or Slither or some of these other films he's done, like he's not a one-note guy. He has a style to him for sure, but it's like the fact is he just, Guardians is a certain kind of movie and Suicide Squad fit kind of into that as well. And it's like, so I feel like I've been kind of like telling people like, dude, don't freaking like think that he's just gonna make a Guardians movie, because he's not. This isn't gonna be just, and this isn't gonna be an MCU movie either. You know, because there's people that aren't necessarily happy with that style. And you know, I will say with like the Russian roulette scene, like that was pretty dark.
It was very dark.
So yeah, brutal stuff for sure.
That scene, we'll talk about that scene for a little bit, but I do want to get back on topic because you asked me about Luther and Nicholas's.
I want to make sure I didn't skip you on Rachel and David.
I will say for sure that was the best performance I've seen from a Luther, hands down. Easy to call it. He's the best Lex Luthor we've ever seen. And I can't put anyone even close to him.
Yeah, and I agree. I like I said, I was definitely cagey about, you know, Chris is the all-time Superman. Rachel is a heavy hitter for Lois, but I'm not going to crown her in any way. And so again, David, there's no crown to be had for him. But with Nicholas Hoult, like he is 100% in my mind the best Luthor we've ever seen in live action. You know, not to say that I didn't love Gene Hackman for what Gene brought to the role. You know, I actually don't mind Kevin Spacey's performance. I actually liked his a little bit more than Gene's, just because like Gene played it funnier. And it's okay. It worked. That was what they needed for that movie, I guess. But like, that's not how I view Luther overall. Like that comedic, almost like cheesy, campy, like almost like
he almost seemed like he was supposed to have like the black eye mask and carrying a sack of loot.
Yeah, like
while running away with like a striped shirt.
Like, I mean, and Gene was a genius actor for sure, and he did a great job with it. But ultimately, it's like that wasn't my favorite. And like I feel like, you know, so I actually even thought that Kevin Spacey, unfortunately, that it's Kevin Spacey, I thought that was a little bit of an upgrade for Luther, because I felt like it had a little bit more of the brooding element that Luther should have. And I think this is just the next step of like, I feel like, because the other thing too is I feel like in live action we've not necessarily had Luther as familiar with him. I feel like he's always growing in familiarity with Superman. Yeah. Because I feel like by the time we get him with every movie, we get to a reboot or whatever before we get to like Luther that's known him. And he hasn't even known him that long in this universe, but it feels like he has, where it's just like he's blaming every aspect of everything wrong on him.
He says like everything in the wrong with the world, everything that can go wrong, everything that will go wrong, everything that has gone wrong is Superman's fault. Yeah. And I hate him with my fire of 1,000. Like it was perfect.
And his speech, Oh,
his speech at the end. Oh,
yeah. And his anger across. I mean, Nicholas. I've said it recently over the course of the last couple episodes. I think we underestimate how good Nick is, because when you go look through his filmography, he's got some fucking banger performances. Like I just don't think we've given him credit for just how good of a fucking actor he is.
It showed in this movie.
And this one it showed. Like that's where I think we were even talking about maybe kind of in looking forward to this movie, where it's just like Nicholas does not get the credit that he deserves, man. When you go through and look at the shit he's done, it's like, whoa, dude, this dude is like killing it, man.
One of the interviews, it was like a 4 or 5 person interview. They were like in the director's chairs. Nicholas is down on the left, and David's a couple down from him in that setting. David was saying like it was one of the best things about making this movie is that I got to be on set watching Nick perform.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'll tell you right now, it's like it's not like anything I've ever seen. It's amazing. He's along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. That's not exactly word for word. But he was just talking about how amazing it was to watch Nick, and Nick's like, oh, if I'd known you were watching, I would have tried. Like something along those lines. Just like I would have done better.
Yeah,
like,
he's a super humble actor for sure. But he's just wonderful. And like I said, like for me, MVP of the Luther realm. And there's been a lot of really great Luthers over the years. Probably a lot more of them were on TV than in film.
Yeah.
But it's like I would put him as the absolute number one
I think he's the best live action Luthor that we've ever had. Easy.
Yeah.
I think it's easy, and I don't think it's close.
No, and I
So,
can't wait to see more of him.
I can't wait to see like the relationship with him and Superman develop and where it's going to go and everything like that. Especially since he is getting locked up.
Yeah.
I have doubts about that.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it.
I have doubts that Luthor got locked up at the end of the film.
I mean, he probably did get locked up, but it never
How
sticks.
How long it lasts is going to be an interesting question. Okay, so
Yeah.
I did want to talk to you about one thing.
It's like Joker. Joker never stays in Arkham
Yeah.
for long. So.
I did want to talk to you about one thing that I don't know if you caught. I talked to it about my wife driving home from the movie, and I realized I didn't bring it up to the group, so I need to bring it up here. Do you know the significance of General Flag?
I mean, I know he's been in a couple things, and I know there's a senior and a junior or whatever. But again, no, I'm not a big DC guy,
Okay.
except for
So
Superman. So
it's pretty significant.
I know that's what's his name that played Crossbones in Marvel, right?
Right.
So
No, there's actually a pretty significant tie-in to Peacemaker with that and Suicide Squad. His son was murdered by Peacemaker in Suicide Squad.
oh, okay, because this is senior, right?
This is senior.
Okay,
so
that's right.
That's something that hasn't been brought back up. Peacemaker's still alive, and he killed Flag in that mission. Remember? So
Yeah.
When they're like General Flag, I was like, oh shit! Because
I mean, I just said my life for you. but
of course you did. Because no.
General Flag, high up in the presidential administration, that just
Arresting Superman. Oof, that's terrifying. Him being that high up.
Randall.
But yeah, so I just had to bring that up because that is something to remember going forward. That was in Suicide Squad, which doesn't count. Does count.
The Suicide Squad, I
the
think.
one with Gunn.
I think it does. Right? Because, I mean, Peacemaker
I don't know.
does. So
Yeah.
it's his weird spot. It's kind of that weird, like, beginning when it's like everything's not fully defined. So it's like there's shit. Because they've said, like, Blue Beetle is going to count. Even though that wasn't.
That's interesting to say because okay, so I gotta clarify something then. So if Peacemaker is official canon in the DCU, that means that Batman does already exist.
Yeah, and we know that. Gunn's already said that, like, because they've
There
said
was the quote by Gunn where it's like,
oh, they asked him
what's it gonna be like
when he meets Batman. He's like,
who says he hasn't
says
already?
he hasn't, and
That's not confirmation that he has.
no, but
But-
it's Gunn has repeatedly said that when Batman shows up in the DCU, he is going to be an aged Batman that's been in it a long time, and he's pretty much said they're going to have Damian as Robin. So, which
Right.
that timeline wise, that
That's
puts you
not-
way down the fucking
Yeah,
road.
that's
So,
not first Robin. That's not second Robin. That's not even third Robin.
Yeah,
That's
which
fourth
one, Which
Robin.
one's a crowbar Robin?
Third Robin.
No.
Second Robin.
Okay,
Jason Todd.
I can't keep them all straight.
Yeah.
They're all the same to
Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne, or sometimes Damian comes before Tim.
me. Yeah.
It's
So yeah,
fluid.
I do think 100% Batman. But I mean, Peacemaker's in this movie.
Yeah, Peacemaker's in this movie, and there's that rant in season 1 where he yells at his neighbor, "Batman's a pussy."
Yeah.
So Batman. Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna just give
Never thought about that.
one wrinkle on things here that I think a lot of people have overlooked.
Okay.
In that Peacemaker thing,
Yeah.
what is his thrust of his
He doesn't like
thing there?
Superman
Why though?
because he's illegal.
No,
Oh.
he's talking about he's all self-righteous and stuff like that, and it's the kill question.
Oh yeah.
So this movie does not solidify that Superman will not kill, because
Okay.
Peacemaker, I don't remember what I almost called him, but Peacemaker says, "Oh, Superman, all high and mighty, only killing if he has to, making the rest like insane, like whatever."
Saying the rest of us who do kill are bad guys.
Yeah, something along those lines. So it's like that Gunn didn't necessarily say, he didn't put in the script that Superman doesn't kill. That's all I'm saying.
There is a line later with the president of the bad country. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, fine, take me to prison like Superman. I know you won't kill." And she's like, "I'm no Superman."
Yeah.
Splat.
Uh,
So it's kind of implied there that he doesn't kill, and Peacemaker's kind of implying that he doesn't kill.
So I also have one of the news bits that goes to this. So Corn Sweat and Gunn were both asked why Superman doesn't kill. Corn Sweat says, "I believe he believes in a basic right to life. I mean, I think that's just not in him." And
Yeah.
Gunn says, I think that if, for instance, he had to kill to protect somebody's life, he would probably do that, even though that would be very hard for him. So
Yeah.
even there, Gunn's. I think he's left the window open, and I think that
it's definitely ambiguous to something in the future.
yeah. So
I don't think Superman's killed anyone yet.
No, not at all. No. It's just a matter of like the way that line was written. I noticed it the second
Yeah.
time seeing it, where it's like, oh, okay, like that was worded in just the right way. That's like, yeah,
Someone can't come back 5 years from now when we get Superman 2 and be like, Gunn said that he wasn't going to kill.
yeah. There's enough wiggle room there
Yes.
to wiggle out.
Because Gunn will call him out if they go and throw
Yeah.
shots at him, because Gunn responds to people online.
Yes, he does.
Which I do appreciate about him.
So next up, just piggybacking on Nicholas Hoult is, again, I would say the best Lex Luthor I've ever seen in live action. The other MVP I'll give for an all-time performance for characters, actually two, Jonathan and Martha Kent.
Okay.
The best Jonathan Martha Kents that have ever been put to film.
Yeah.
Just 100%. And I'm not even, this isn't even an open-ended for me. This is like, it's not even close. I feel like there's been fine versions of the characters, but
Yeah.
this is like, these two felt so true. Right, the accents they've got, like just like everything, like Gunn really tried to make sure they actually felt like Midwest farmers, and I
love that Pa Kent was so quiet and he's a mushy guy. And
Yeah.
just everything like that. That was so. He's a quiet farming guy. He's gonna go have a beer with his friends. He's gonna take care of his corn,
and he like is telling about going to that burrito store,
Yeah.
and it just feels so mundane, but that's a big thing for someone that lives in Smallville,
yeah,
right?
I mean, think about it. They had to drive what did they say, hours to go to a Mexican restaurant?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and like in my mind, I'm like, that's probably like Chipotle, right? It's not even like this like really great, wonderful,
Yeah.
like high end, like
Yeah.
well rated. Like this is like McDonald's of Mexican food type thing. It's probably right. That's how I would interpret it. But I think the both actors did incredible. Pa Kent was way more, but he was given more. I loved them both. I mean, on the phone thing, on the speakerphone, I could hear him, Mom. Like
Yeah.
that was great. And then, but when Pa is like almost in tears, asking if their son was gonna be okay or whatever,
Yeah.
or I can't remember if he's asking if he's gonna be okay or if he's gonna die, and she Lois tells him, like, that was just perfect. And like I feel like that. Like
They're a mother and father. That's
Yeah.
what they felt like as they. Dude, I looked at my wife with the Ma Kent on the speakerphone. I'm like, oh my god, it reminds me of my parents. My parents are boomers, so it's like they're a little bit older. It's like, yeah, like that's.
and you're talking to both of them on speakerphone.
Gunn nailed it. My mom and dad do that all the time to me. They'll call me, "You're on speakerphone with both of us."
And then your dad will say something, and then your mom will repeat it, and it's
yeah,
like,
I heard it, Mom.
I can-
Yes, I've literally done that with my parents, dude. Like, I literally have.
Yeah.
I do got to tell you a story. So we got home from the movie, and it was either that night or the next night. My wife and I were laying in bed, and we were talking about it. So it must have been that night. And yeah, my wife can vouch. Yes, they have done that. My wife also says, "Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name?" That's all she.
I almost said that earlier when you said the DCEU wasn't
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of humor. I'm like, you mean on purpose humor,
On
right?
a purpose humor, exactly. No, she almost lost it in the theater. She was telling me about that on the drive home. She almost lost it when they said Martha. She's like, "Why did you say that name?" But we were laying there, and we were talking about how great all the characters were, and how they felt real,
Yeah.
and not like shoehorned into something that doesn't fit their character archetype. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't fit the mold when Pa Kent tells Superman not to be Superman.
Yeah.
And I was telling her about that with that's Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I was telling her about that, and she goes, "Wait, he dies?" I'm like, "Yeah, he dies in the very first like part of Man of Steel." And she goes, "How does he die? Like, is he killed by a villain?" I'm like, "He's killed by a tornado." And she goes, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, he like tells Superman not to rescue him." And she's like, "I've never heard of this." So
Yeah.
I showed her the scene. My wife is not a Superman fan. My wife is not a big Zack Snyder fan or anything like that. She's an impartial judge. And she's like, "That's dumb. He could have saved him without anyone seeing him." I'm like, "I know."
Yeah.
She's like, "He could have just blown away the tornado."
Yeah.
She's like,
He
blew,
could move
he
at super
blew-
speed to where nobody could really even registers what's happening.
Yeah. She's like, in this one, he blows them all out of a black hole. And and he couldn't blow away a tornado to save his dad.
Yeah.
Like she's like, come on, and
What's his name again? Kevin Costner. I've never been a big
Yeah.
Kevin Costner fan, so I was a little bit happy. I'm like, yes, kill Kevin Costner.
dead.
But see, in the Reeve movie, he dies of a heart attack.
He dies of a heart attack. There's nothing Superman can do about that.
And it's one of my favorite moments when he's like talking to Martha, and he's like,
Yeah.
with all these powers, all these things I can do, but I couldn't do anything to save him.
Exactly.
Like that's and like honestly, there is part of me like in the trailers I was super worried because there's that super loving scene with Jonathan and Clark. And I worried the first time I saw that image. I'm like, is this like a Ma just died and they're gonna kill fucking Martha?
Yeah.
And like this is them both like mourning over that, and I was just like terrified because I'm like, let him live, man. Like that's more in the comics. That's more common.
Yeah.
The animated series, like the Reeve movie killed Pa, and that's almost become like more common because of that. Like everyone just draws from that and does the same thing, but it's like that's not like ingrained in the comics
No.
the same way that like some of this other stuff
There's a
is.
scene in one of the animated movies, or maybe it's one of the shows, where Clark brings Martian Manhunter back for Christmas, and they give him a sweater. Like, that's just like the most wholesome thing that the kids. They had a spare sweater
Yeah.
and everything, and they're like, "Oh, it might be a little big on you." And then Martian Manhunter, of course, can shapeshift. He just bulks up. He's like, "It fits perfectly." And
Yeah.
like it was a clip that I saw the other day, and I was just like, "That's so wholesome." And that's what Ma and Pa Kent are. Is they're just so wholesome. So
Yeah, we have comic book history says only thing I didn't like, and it's not just for Superman, it's all movies when they take place over 2 days. I need to see time progressively. And actually,
Okay.
we mentioned it earlier, though, is apparently in an early cut of this, this took place over the course of a week, and they actually had title cards that said like Monday, Tuesday, and somewhere along the line that got cut. Apparently, that's been kind of out there on the internet because people that saw test screenings are like,
Yeah.
oh, they kind of cut that out or whatever. So apparently that was this movie, even though it wasn't overtly told to us, took
Yeah.
place over the course of a week. So I will also say just a quick thing because you mentioned Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
When Lex has his little fucking skiff that's like taking him around and shit, and there's
Yeah.
that ghoulish creature,
when he's got Superman on it,
and he's got that ghoulish creature driving it.
yeah.
I think that's a white Martian.
You think that's a white Martian? Okay.
Yeah, that looked very, very, very similar.
Horror-esque?
Very
Like,
similar to a white
ugh.
Martian. So that just you mentioned old
Manhunter.
John
Yeah,
Jones.
John
So
Jones.
let's see. So yeah, but Jonathan and Martha, they killed it. I think they were
Yeah.
perfect in every way. And this scene with Jonathan was like the crux, right? Like that's what helped bring Superman out of the
Yes.
funk, right? Because like, and we'll get to the. Jor-El and Lara in a second,
Damn.
but I don't know. I love these two a lot. So great stuff.
I thought it was awesome.
We've gone this long now. We're an hour and 20 minutes, or 20, 30 minutes in. Or, no,
Yeah.
we started like it's probably about a half hour or so in,
Yeah.
right, to our conversation. We haven't mentioned crypto yet.
We have mentioned
I mean,
crypto.
not-
We've
not
mentioned
really.
crypto, but we haven't talked about crypto.
Yeah,
And we shouldn't talk about crypto. He's a bad dog.
he is a bad dog.
He's a bad dog. What's with Gunn and bad dogs?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, Cosmo's a bad dog.
Yeah,
They cover that extensively.
extensively, and it wasn't. They weren't incorrect.
They were incorrect. Cosmo was a bad dog.
I loved it. I mean,
Crypto was amazing.
I can't remember who it was I saw, but like that was just saying like, why is Gunn so good at like non-human characters? You know, like with Rocket, Groot, like there's all
Yeah.
these. He just feels like whatever he does, like any, like whatever. And it's like Crypto now to add to the list. And it's just, just wonderfully done. Obviously, we all know the inspiration is his real rescue
it's
dog,
come out,
which is
oh shoot, I was just based on the name. But yeah, rescue dog from a hoarding situation. That's so good.
yeah. So, like, and like he kind of had the thought, he's like, man, I'm glad this dog doesn't have fucking superpowers. That'd be a nightmare because this dog's a terror. And I think it's gotten better for sure.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, then to throw it on Supergirl at the end. Where
Yeah,
it's like,
it's Supergirl's dog.
it's her fault.
Yeah.
It's her fault. This dog
My
has-
wife did say in the chat, also thank you to this movie for showing men showing emotions. I loved that. That is true, that a lot of times it's like, no. It's
Yeah.
strong, man. It can't.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, and to make Paul like the more emotional one.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
we know that there's men like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like you could just see it where it's like if they lost a cow or something, Pa's the one that's crying, and Ma's like, "Come on, man, we're farmers."
Yeah.
Like-
we got to go put a cow down. Oh, fine. Pa, give me the gun. I'll go do it.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
Also, I really worried for those cows.
Oh,
when
yeah.
Crypto was out there speaking to the bad dog.
Mm-hmm.
When Crypto's out there with the cows, I'm like, oh my god, this is not going to go well.
He's not that bad of a dog. My wife says Crypto is amazing. And then comic book history says the twist of his parents felt like the Batman twist where Bruce finding out that his dad helped the mob.
Yeah, I
Twisted
actually
his mission statement.
I thought the very same thing, that it did feel very Reeves-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not Reeves, Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves.
That S is really fun
Yep.
because it helps make distinction there. But I thought the same thing in the theater. I was like, oh shit, kind of like the Batman. Like this is you know, you're kind of undercutting.
It's one of those iterations of Thomas Wayne that does exist. It's like what you were saying about Pa Kent, about them just constantly killing him off. It's not something that's been done 100% of the time, but it is one where Thomas stands up to the mob, or Thomas is involved with the mob, and that's why he was killed.
Yeah.
A lot of I like me personally as a Batman fan, I like the pure randomness of that it was just a mugger looking for someone who had money.
Yeah.
That it just happened to be the Waynes. Like
Yeah.
it was just pure chance that
Yeah.
one dark day could change your life like that.
Yeah.
That's just my take on it.
Yeah.
But we're talking Superman. So
but-
Crypto.
Yeah, Crypto, and I will say we got to circle back to Jor-El and
We will.
Laura, because
Do we want to talk? Should we talk that first since comic book history brought it up?
I will say that is probably what I'm seeing online the most controversial thing from the entire movie in the Superman realm.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
Has that ever been done before, to your knowledge?
Yeah, I believe there's at least one comic book run. I forget which one. And I do know there's a TV show that's done it because I've seen this done before. I can't place what it was. I don't know if it was a live action TV show, or I know it's not the animated series, but there's been a couple other animated versions. But this isn't like absolutely jaw on the floor. I've never seen this done before. That wasn't my reaction in the theater by any means. Now, is it rare? Yes. But I will also say, the way that's told, I do not think their whole premise is necessarily like your goal should be to conquer Earth. I think it's more of a fact of like, we're sending you to a place where like you will be able to like whatever. Like I don't know.
Do what you want.
Yeah, like, and so I think like part of like the command of that second part, not command, but the second part of that message, I don't know. I guess there's like it's not full level of like Zod of like completely like rebuild Krypton, like, but
They will be my servants.
yeah,
they will be my slaves
until
kind of
until
thing.
I wipe them out because we're going to make this the new Krypton type.
Yeah.
Like it's not that far, but I think it's an element of like, you know, I don't know. I guess the harem thing is probably the thing that makes it the most. And I can see where people are kind of disappointed by it or whatever. But like, again, I almost like it because it does tie into like the humanity of Superman.
I think,
like I've made the argument with you before over the course of this show. It's like I would make the argument, and I don't know if we've ever done this long form, but I would make the argument that Superman's more human than Batman.
Yeah.
When you break down all of the character aspects, not like the fact that he is actually a human and he's actually an alien, but like all of the elements of the characters.
I'll tell you,
Superman is more human than Batman.
there's a scene that came up last night when I was watching videos online that proves your point with Batman, and it's canonically in Batman Beyond. Okay, there's a part, an episode where old Bruce, because remember Terry McGinnis is Batman now.
Yeah.
There's a scene. There's an episode where old Bruce gets scarecrow gassed or something, where he's gone psychotic. And at the end of the episode, when everything goes back to normal, because, you know, episodic TV show, everything goes back to normal at the end, Terry's like, well, how did you know that it wasn't real? And he goes, because I was calling myself Bruce. And Kevin Conroy has gone on record, and there's an interview with him, saying that Bruce is the disguise.
Yeah.
He believes that he is
And we
Batman.
talked about that on our
Yes.
Superman and Batman episode. We didn't call it versus, but like,
yeah, it's why you were a Superman fan. Why am I a Batman fan? And that's to your point, is that if he believes that he is
because
Batman,
he's Clark. Superman is the alternate ego.
Exactly.
And I know that's not the way it
the
was written.
costume. That's the portrayal of that. But at the end of the day, he is Clark. He was raised Clark Kent by Ma and Pa in Kansas on a farm.
Yeah.
Batman believes that he's Batman. There's literally the famous frame of a comic where they hold out the lasso of truth. Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. One of the first times they're coming together. And she says, my name is Diana. And he says, Clark Kent. And Batman says Batman. Like,
Yeah.
It's the lasso of fucking truth.
Yeah.
And he says Batman. To your point, that's what we're talking. What you're talking about here is that Superman believes he's Clark Kent. Superman is his disguise, but Batman is Batman, and Bruce Wayne is his alter ego.
Yeah,
his
Bruce Wayne died at a certain point, right? And it's like, then like all that remains for Bruce Wayne is really a disguise. So, but I will say that with the, I don't know, I'm not necessarily even trying to like fully whatever, like because I fully understand where like, the fans that are not a fan of Jor-El and Laura's second part of that message, I understand it, but I do also like. I'm fine with it because, like, I do think it's interesting from the storytelling perspective.
It is definitely unique, and one of the things I will say.
Also, I did see where Comic Book History said that, like, just saying that it was interesting that odd they both had that same twist.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I think your nail hit the nail on the head with the hammer out. That one is that it's just like, oh,
yeah,
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
The parent twist with Superman, I honestly believed that it was going to be Luthor. Oh, he doctored this. He's still making it up and everything like that.
There's still people holding to that, like online.
There's no way that that's true.
3 times it was stated that it was not doctored.
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific says, I know all those people. They wouldn't have said it if it wasn't legit. I know Luthor says it to the dictator when he says, "Oh, whatever."
He had it waiting for me.
Yeah, or maybe the first one was Luthor saying it. Like, we have all these experts. They say it wasn't. This is all legit.
Yeah,
and it's all translated. And then Mr. Terrific certifies that, saying they wouldn't have got it wrong. And then Luthor tells that dictator, he's like, "No, I didn't doctor anything. Like, that's what it said.
They had it ready for me."
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are clinging to that. Like, well, maybe it was still like altered or whatever. And it's like, I don't think so, man. You don't state something 3 times in a movie.
Yes.
When you got very limited, because again, movies have to pick their moments. Like, you got very limited amount of words that'll be in a movie. I know that doesn't feel like that for us as fans, but when a screenwriter's sitting down, every word's got to mean something. And if you're going to restate something 3 times, you're not doing that. If then somewhere down the road you're going to be like, oh, actually it was altered. That's no. Like, now maybe there will be some more context added to it in some way.
See, that's what I think may happen. I could see it being one of 2 ways. Either one, that's it for Superman's biological parents.
Yeah.
That's it. He's pulling the plug.
Which is the way the end of the movie felt a little bit.
Exactly. If it wasn't for the end of the movie, I would lean more heavily to my second theory, is that I think that what's going to happen is that Clark is going to accept what his biological parents were and reject it.
Yeah.
And he's wholeheartedly going to embrace Pa and Ma Kent's and being human and everything like that, which will set up perfectly for a clash with another Kryptonian.
Yeah.
Whether it's Supergirl or someone else, Zod and everything like that, is a perfect way of setting it up. One sec. And then the other one that I just want to throw out there before we go any farther is that I would not be surprised if we find out from Kara or someone else.
Which I'm not sure if you're familiar, but Kara is like a teenager when Krypton blows up. So
she's older than
she would be
Cal.
conscious of what's going on. She was I can't remember, she's 14, but like she's
older than Clark, but
she's not an infant like he was.
He gets here sooner, so he ages, and now he's older than her.
Yes.
Something along those lines.
But he was an infant on Krypton. Right. She was like 14. So like if Gunn keeps that from the comics, I don't know if he will. He could change whatever he wants. But there's part of me that's why I said earlier, I wonder if there's context that'll be added. And
that's what I think.
And next year's Supergirl,
I think that's what maybe it is that they have the word harem on Krypton. That means a following, not a group of women. Something along those lines, that it's lost in translation kind of thing.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if Gunn has that planned already, or I don't think he'll react to people hating it. I don't think he's going to care. If this is what he wants to do, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
It's Gunn. That's the thing. But I would not be surprised if that's the direction that we're going, is that it's a misunderstanding, because it's a plot point for this movie.
Yeah. And it's needed for the character journey in this movie.
Exactly.
But yeah, I do think there's enough wiggle room that you could potentially recontextualize it. Not necessarily say that it's doctored. I think that ship has sailed.
Right.
But you can recontextualize it in some way in the future.
No. That's not what they meant with Kryptonian language. It's actually, if you translate it into English, this is what it should mean.
Yeah.
And a Kryptonian who speaks English would be able to do that versus someone who is studying it for the first time. Because that's one of the things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way is Mr. Terrific's saying, well, they wouldn't lie. It's like, yeah, but what if they're mistaken?
Yeah, they could be mistaken, but
What if they took human knowledge and applied it to Kryptonian society?
yeah,
What if that's different? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on that is that I'm not holding out hope that Jor-El and what's his wife's name? Laura are like these angels like they've always been portrayed in every instance that I've seen.
yeah,
Honestly, I don't care because we have Ma and Pa Kent.
yeah,
If they leave it that way, fine.
yeah.
If they
and that's
make
where
it-
I'm at. Like,
if they make it where it's a misunderstanding and it was mistranslated or it was a
could work,
misinterpretation,
too.
that's fine.
but also, doesn't it also give you a cool like duality of the character,
Yes.
where it's like you're always struggling with like not struggling full on, but like there's always that
That thought.
element in the back of your head where
Yes.
it's like, oh shit, like my real parents. It's kind of the Yondu thing, right? It's like there's the parents, and then there's like that he's not your real daddy type thing. But
Yeah.
it comes down to that versus like real parents versus like the sperm donors, and like there could always be like
Nature versus nurture.
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
thing. Yeah.
So, also Rocket Raccoon playing Jor-El.
Figures that he's a piece of shit. Rocket's a piece of shit. So
And who was his brother? James Gunn's brother. Was that
Maxwell Lord,
Maxwell Lord?
which is a notorious bad guy.
He's big. He's big
Yeah.
in the DC for sure. I think he was in something. Superman and Lois. Something. Yeah, he was.
Comic book history says, yeah, they can change it, but there's no point. Like people said, why would people turn on Superman? His parents said that he's been nothing but a savior since going public.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people were saying. It's like,
yeah.
so?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they said, but that's not what and Pa says it. Your actions speak for you.
Yeah.
And
Which
that's what it comes down to.
great,
is that
great scene.
I
for
love
sure.
that. That scene on the porch, I was a little worried about that because I've kind of kept it to myself, but I thought the clutch of his dad, where he puts his arm around him, I always thought that was kind of like awkward. It makes so much more sense now that I've seen the full scene.
Yeah.
He is struggling with something there, and that is like thank you, Dad. I needed to hear that clutch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, comic book history says Maxwell Lord was a good guy until he was a bad guy, then got his neck broke by one. Was he in the Wonder Woman movie?
yes, he's Pedro Pascal in Wonder Woman 2.
So maybe that's what maybe he wasn't in Superman and Lois. Maybe it was Wonder Woman I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. So anything else you want to say about Crypto? The only thing I want to say is
I mean, we haven't even talked about Crypto.
we haven't
That
talked about him a
dog's
ton.
menace.
He's a menace. He must be stopped. Lex having him with the squirrel.
Oh,
thing.
that was cruel and unusual punishment. How Lex deserves all the heat that he gets for that.
Yeah.
Mistreating a dog.
Yeah, and then he was going to kill it.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be painful too. And
Yeah.
also the coffee mug thing was so great in the office. Where's the dog? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, ugly dog with a red cape. He's like, what did you say?
You heard him say that, right? Like, oh, that was so funny.
But he looks so unhinged.
Yeah,
It's
he
like-
looks so crazy.
But Crypto, I think one of my favorite moments is when he like sees the T-spheres.
Yeah.
The first time,
He's like,
just the look on his face. If you've ever had a dog,
Ball.
you've seen that
Yeah.
look, and like, yeah, it cracked me up in the theater because I thought the same. Like, he sees a fucking ball, dude.
Yep.
He's like, those things are fucking cheap.
That's a toy.
Yeah. And then later that pays off with the Lex cameras.
Yep.
So that was an interesting setup and payoff that I think it could be easily missed. Where it's just like, oh, toy, And
Yeah.
then later on though that pays off because he does the exact same thing to blind Luther.
So we have a saying with our movie group that we always say, especially me and my wife, is all hell Kevin Feige.
Yes.
That's the all hell Kevin Feige for the MCU. Thank you, Kevin Feige. All hell you. I said it earlier, but I'm gonna reiterate it. In Gun We Trust.
Yeah.
Like that's
100%.
That's now all hell Kevin Feige, and in Gun We Trust.
Well, except for
That's-
Lex Luthor's gun going off on the second round.
I mean,
that's tough.
damn, James. that was unexpected.
And like I was saying, like earlier, I like that's like Metamorpho. That's like his origin story.
Yeah.
Like that's his Martha and Thomas Wayne,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the moment that transformed. Like if he ends up getting his own movie or whatever, when he shows up later, that's going to be the moment for him. That's like
Yeah.
his thing.
and there it is.
Yeah,
It
which
didn't
is
take 3 hours to tell it.
no.
I love it.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah,
And there was no fucking pearl necklace. Thank God.
but yeah, Crypto was awesome. I loved him also attacking Luther.
Oh God, that was so funny. And
'Cause-
what set him off? Do you remember? Do you remember what set Crypto off?
I mean, he doesn't need anything to set him off.
He didn't do anything until Luthor did one specific thing.
I'm
He poked Superman in the chest. He's like, "Hey, don't touch my human.
yeah. No,
Don't touch my guy."
That's true.
That was it.
Breaking the arm.
Oh God.
And because here's the thing. You know me.
Yeah.
I do love characters that are called villains.
Yes.
I'm not going to call them villains.
They are villains.
Luthor. I've always loved Luthor.
Yeah.
He's great.
Of course you have.
I think this is the first time I've ever truly hated him.
Yeah.
Like with every being. Like there's part of me that's like, Superman, just push him out the window.
And
I love Nicholas Holt, so I'm like, I want to see more.
Yeah.
Like I'll break my rule even and say, give me a Nicholas Holt Lex Luthor movie. Like I'm not into that usually, but like he's so good. Like let's do it. But there was that moment in the movie when Superman flew in. I was like, just go all the way through. Let him out the window. Just yeah. Like which would be a tragic. Can you imagine not having any more Nicholas Holt as Luthor? Like, but he did a great job. But Crypto whipping him around, I think I said it outside the theater. He puny godded him.
Oh, absolutely, he did. Comic book history says it felt kind of like a Luthor movie as much as it was a Superman movie.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to be great going forward if we keep the Luthor Superman relationship.
Yeah,
we might miss it in 2 and might come back in 3. You know, they do that sometimes where a character, a villain disappears. Kingpin did it in Daredevil.
Yeah.
He was there for a couple scenes in season 2, but then he came back in season 3, and oh my gosh, it was amazing to see his return and everything. So
yeah,
we might see that with Luthor with him in prison. We might not. It depends.
Yeah,
where Gunn wants to go with it, but
yeah,
I just can't wait for more. Superman's speech.
Yeah.
I can't. I've been mulling it over now for what is it, like 10 days since we saw it or so?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. I cannot decide which speech I like more, Luthor's or Superman's. I can't.
I mean,
I can't.
It's
decide.
peanut butter and jelly.
I can't decide.
I don't think either of them work as well without the other. I think together they just merge to a perfect. Yeah, in both cases, perfect. And both actors just fucking killed it, man.
That's gonna be
because like speeches are easy to flub. I think it's hard because we only ever remember the great speeches.
Yeah.
In like you always remember Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. Like you remember the greats.
Can't handle
but it's
the
like
truth.
it's really more when you actually go through and look. There's a lot of times where it's like it just falls flat. It's like you just can't give an actor a quarter of a page of a fucking monologue, and they're gonna nail it. Like that's a tough thing to do. Like that's not what movie acting is usually about. So like Nicholas I wouldn't doubt at all, but David, I think that's one of the things that won me over is like the fact he was able to do that. I mean there's a lot of great stuff in this movie.
I make mistakes. I get up. I'm uncertain. I'm 1 foot in front of the other. And it's like,
and how relatable.
Oh,
right?
so
like,
relatable.
Yeah, again, I remember in the theater thinking to myself like, just like I told Peter, more human than Batman. Like and that was it. Like that what he's saying there. It's like that all sounds so human.
Yeah.
And David brought like the empathy and also like the vulnerability, I
Yes.
think, to Superman that was huge.
My wife said the scene was so funny with Crypto, and then comic book history has a good one. Lex will be in Peacemaker season 2. I think I heard somewhere, not confirmed.
Oh, I'm. So again, I think Peacemaker season 1 has got to be high on my list. I need to start figuring.
Season 2's next month, so
yeah, I need to. Well, I got plenty of time.
It's not very long.
No, I figured under 10 episodes, right?
I think it's 8 if I remember.
Yeah, that sounds about right. MVP for the movie? Any
Luthor.
Okay.
Luthor. Second, you want to hear my surprise silver medal?
I wonder if it's my number 1.
You want to hear my silver medal? Jimmy Olsen.
Okay, no, not
Where
mine.
the fuck has this Jimmy Olsen been my whole life? I'm so tired of the sidekicks.
Mutant toes.
Not sidekick. Sidekick's not the right phrase.
Your wife says crypto.
Crypto. Oh yeah. What's the right term for Jimmy Olsen? He's not a sidekick. He's not a Robin.
He's the best friend.
He's the best. Okay, thank you. The best friend.
Guy in the chair, kinda,
The guy
but it's
in the
not.
chair, but
it's not. He's never in a chair.
Yeah.
I'm just using the MCU nomenclature, but it's that character.
He's the Ned to Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he's also
he's the friend. Yes, the best friend. Yeah.
Throughout the comics, he's also like, what's the opposite of a damsel? What's the male damsel in distress? Like the whatever a male damsel is in distress, because there's a lot of times that Superman has to save Lois and then Jimmy. So
yes, I think that this one was such a refreshing breath of fresh air that he's just a fucking player.
Yeah.
Like, he gets so many girls.
That threw me off, dude. When
I loved it.
When those girls were like fucking winking at him and shit, I was like, did they make Jimmy a fucking player?
He's a stud. Like, I loved that.
Yeah.
Like the whole mutant toes with Eva or Eve?
Eve. Yeah.
That was
Tessmacher.
so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I loved that he's like as good a reporter as Lois.
Yeah.
That was the thing that I always kind of felt with like the animated show.
Yeah.
Is that Jimmy was kind of a bumbling.
Yeah. I mean, early on, he's the photographer.
Yeah.
Lois is the reporter. He's the photographer.
Right.
So,
but
like,
he always was kind of like tripping over an untied shoelace and stuff like that. This one actually changed. Like, Jimmy is like,
he moved the needle plot-wise and stuff. Yeah, for
and
sure.
I liked that. I really liked that for Jimmy. That's why I'm giving him my silver medal.
Yeah. So, I might surprise you. My MVP.
Your MVP.
Mr. Terrific.
Oh, I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific.
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Immediately, I'm like, give me a fucking movie or series on Mr.
You
Terrific.
said that when we
Like,
left the theater. You're like, give me a movie.
Please. Like, and I didn't come in expecting to like him
Yeah.
necessarily. Like, I mean, I'm know that a Mr. Terrific is a character that exists, but beyond that, nothing else. But that actor killed it. Also, have you seen the meme going around where it's the shot from First Class? Because there's Nicholas Hoult, the one that plays the engineer. Is she in it? And then Mr. Terrific was Darwin in First Class.
Okay.
So it's like, oh look, here's the engineer, Lex Luthor, and Mr. Terrific, all like as younger people.
Yeah.
But Mr. Terrific fucking killed it. I loved his technology. I loved his attitude. I loved just everything about him. Like,
goddamn Mr. Terrific.
yeah, and like circles. It's like they're 3D. Circles are 2-dimensional. They're spheres.
They're spheres. T-spheres.
I
We
love-
have seen Mr. Terrific before, though. He's in Arrow. And then in Legends of Tomorrow, isn't he?
I
Yeah,
don't
he's the
remember.
sidekick in Arrow.
I don't remember.
Isn't he?
I don't know who you're talking about. Like Arrow's main guy? I don't think that's Mr. Terrific.
No. He's in the Arrowverse. He's got a little bit of a fro. There he is, right there. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I had no memory of that.
Yeah, he is. He's in the Arrowverse.
Comic book history says read the last Adam Strange from King story. He was great in that. I want to see more. I think the actor fucking killed it. I think that like he just brought the right, and I will say that about the entire. Well, Hot Girl, I don't know much about, and she underwhelmed me a bit. I loved the moment she had, but I do think we could have got a little bit more from her. I know it's a Superman movie, but I feel like I felt a little bit more from Guy Gardner and from Mr. Terrific than her. I feel like she felt a little bit less developed, but I do think we got more of her coming down the road.
Yeah.
But Mr. Terrific, I thought he did a great job. The way the actor played it was perfect, and I think he was probably my MVP mostly just because he's kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I was just like, because of the trailers, I was very. I mean, for one, Nicholas Holt's reputation, I'm like, okay, Nicholas is gonna fucking kill it. David won me over in the trailers. Rachel won me over in the trailers. So I feel like a lot, like he kind of was just the unknown. Like he's kind of the dark horse of like, I didn't expect him at all to move the needle for me. And then walking out of the movie, I was like, holy shit, dude. Like that was a fucking great character. And that's kind of where like maybe I would like put the pin in like the idea of like, In Gun We Trust. Is like the fact he was able to pull off Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific. I do think Hot Girl was done well enough that I don't think it was like ruined. I just feel like she was a little bit less developed than the other two. The arguments over the name was incredible. The fact that they went and found that real building that inspired, because that's a real building for the Hall of Justice.
Oh, is it really? Like
that's a real building. Is it in Cleveland? And like so like when they did the animated shit, they used that building as the inspiration, and now Gunn went and filmed at that actual fucking building.
Oh, that's awesome.
So like it's
See,
all
that just shows you that Gunn gets it.
Yeah, and it's like so to have it there. Like I just like I think across the board. I mean, Metamorpho is incredible. And I'm just talking about the stuff that's outside of the normal Superman realm. And yeah, Mr. Terrific, I'm like, please give me more of him. Give me a fucking 8-episode series run of Mr. Terrific. Give me a show, a movie. Like, I'll take it. He was great.
Yeah, I was looking it up. He is starting in season 4 of Arrow.
I have no memory of that.
Yeah, he. To be fair, he doesn't.
No, you're actually right. Now I'm vaguely remembering because that's when he brings in all those like wannabe, and he's one of them.
Yeah,
and he's the only one that really lasts a long time.
One of the characters is paralyzed, and he helps her walk again with like a special implant.
Yeah, you're right.
He's
now.
more of like a scientist kind of guy, like the guy in the chair. It's very later on that he gets the spheres.
Yeah,
so he's not Mr. T for all of it.
You're right.
So.
I forgot about that.
He has been seen before. So, but no, Mr. Terrific was amazing. I loved his sass.
Yeah.
That was one of the best parts.
I don't care about people's emotions.
I don't care about people's emotions. And then she continues to talk about it, and he's just like, "Lady, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, do you know how to stop it? Do I know how to stop it? Like, it's like you're the fucking person that works here.
Yeah,
like, this is your thing, for God's sake. Oh man, yeah. He. And like I said, there is maybe a part of it that he was probably the biggest. I didn't come in expecting anything from him, so that may have helped him. Whereas some others I had high expectations for, which maybe wasn't the best strategy to have high expectations for a lot of these things. But like, he's probably my MVP.
It is going to be very interesting to see what happens with Guy Gardner, I will say.
I loved
Green
him.
Lantern.
I loved him. I know that everyone hates him. Like, even the other Green Lanterns hate him. But like,
he's a prick.
He's another one where I'm like, give me a whole series of him, please. I apparently he's going to be pretty. He's going to be in the Lanterns series. So can't wait for that.
Did we get confirmation that there's going to be 3 Lanterns on Earth?
Yes.
John Stewart, Hal Jordan, and Guy Gardner. That's crazy.
They'll all be in the show. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Also, there's the first image we ever saw of this. Do you remember what it was?
Of Superman?
Yeah, very first image of Corn Sweat in the suit.
No.
It's him in the apartment with the glowing shit going in the background.
Right, yeah. Absolutely not anything big.
The fact that they got it, and you see like a fucking green baseball bat. But I have to say, it's an interdimensional imp. There's 2 things that can be.
That's Mr. Oh, I can't say his name. It's weird.
Mixapitalik.
And then Batmite.
Yeah, I'm going to throw on the chat just for anyone. I mean, I know comic book history probably knows, but I got to throw it in there because then the spelling is one that bothers me.
There's no vowels.
I mean, why is it sometimes why, right? But yeah, Mixapitalik, and like honestly, one of the more controversial things with him is how do you say his name? Because it's a comic book. Like,
isn't the only way to get rid of him is to make him say his name backwards?
I know he's made an agreement with that. Or he's even made agreements with Superman where it's like, if you make me say my name, I'll stop bothering you.
Yeah.
And then like at one point he tricks him by calling him the wrong name. He's like, that's not my name. My name is Mr. Mixapitalik. And disappears. And then Batmite, the only reason I would count him in there is because Gunn has been on record repeatedly saying how much he likes that character and wants him in there. So both of those are very famous interdimensional imps. So but I remember wanting to Leo meme it because I'm like, Mr. Mixapitalik, that's him. He just said interdimensional imp, like that has to be him. I didn't know about Batmite. I learned that later. So what about Kara?
It's gonna be so interesting to see where we go from here.
I'm sold on her.
She's
like
great.
90 seconds.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick about that scene though.
Not me, man. I mean, for her, I'm into it.
She's gonna be great. I'm not that. I have a bone to pick about the scene. So you can only get drunk on a red sun planet, right?
Yeah.
Under a red sun. So when she comes back under a yellow sun, her drunkenness stays?
I mean, yeah, until you're revived from it, yeah. It's kind of like a hangover, right? You've experienced that a little bit. Not as nearly as much as me. But
I just thought the yellow sun cures Superman of everything, so...
I mean, it took, even in this movie, it took time.
They said that he was only at 86%.
And that was after they like fucking magnify glassed his ass and multiple magnifying glasses. That felt like Thor when he built the second hammer and they had like that.
Not the second hammer. How dare you? That was Stormbreaker.
The like multiple irises and shit. Like it was like that level. So it's like that was like concentrated fucking sun. So like I will say it probably takes her a bit, and that's probably why she's not going to hang out for a while.
I was going to have a serious bone to pick with James Gunn's decision to let Superman get bloody by some random dude. I'm like, this guy's bulletproof. Like this guy can take a tank shell and brush it off. Like, are you fucking? No, it makes sense. He was fighting his clone.
Which he's going to end up being Bizarro Superman.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's going to go into that pocket dimension and go fucking nuts.
Here's the only, like, and I love this movie.
Yeah.
Some nitpicks.
Okay.
How did Superman not hear Lex and them giving orders? He's got super hearing.
He's got to focus still.
There's that.
No, he doesn't hear everything every second of every day.
In the comics, he does.
He focuses.
He has to like work on focusing his
Yes.
hearing.
And when he's fighting, he's going to be focused on what he's fighting, especially when he's getting his ass kicked.
I don't know.
He's not going to be like, "What's that? Someone's playing Battleship over there?" He's not going to even know what it means.
What was it? A1.
A1. A1.
Which again, the way he acted that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
The fact that the
Nicholas
whole
Hoult.
team was like into it too, like
Yeah.
they were fucking like Rainbow Six Siege players or
Yeah.
Call of Duty players or something. A multiplayer video game is
Yeah.
what it felt like. That they were like, "I need your support. No, I need you to over here. Okay, let's do it. B5." You know,
Yeah.
like, dude, it felt so real.
But my only other nitpick, X-ray vision. He should have seen right through all of the stuff to see that even under the mask.
That it was
So,
himself.
yeah.
What if it was made of lead?
That's true. Could have been.
It could have been lead.
And knowing James Gunn, he probably would have done that.
He absolutely hasn't.
It wasn't called in the movie though, so there was just part of me where I'm like, I mean, I knew who it was.
Yeah.
I was just like, I knew it immediately. Like early on, I think they said Ultraman. I'm just like, yeah, there's.
Yeah, I
and
know.
Then like
Yeah.
he did a good job of like them getting into the fortress, but then they let a long time go before coming back around to like, how did he get in?
Yeah.
But like me immediately, I'm like, of course they're gonna get in. This is gonna be easy. He's got a fucking Superman clone there, or I didn't know it'd be a Superman clone or if it'd be a Bizarro Superman entirely. So, but with Kara though, she's got me sold. I was like,
can't wait for
I mean, I
Supergirl.
love Superman and like Supergirl to an extent, but I just like her less, I guess, because it's not Superman.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's just like Robin.
I was like
Batman more than Robin.
I was like so. I'm like, I'll see it, but I'm like not over the moon crazy excited about this movie next year. 90 seconds, whatever the fuck it was. I'm like, that just moved very much higher on my list of anticipated movies for 26.
The fact that Crypto is her dog and Crypto acts that way makes me so excited to see more of her.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be a menace just like her dog.
Oh yeah.
100%.
100%.
Your pets mirror your personality. You've heard this, right?
Yeah.
Which is why your cat always wants to kill me. Because you're evil.
I mean, I don't know about that. My only other nitpick,
Okay.
almost no Clark Kent. That was
It
pretty.
was very
that was
light.
pretty
It was
wild.
very light on the Clark Kent. Okay, I have one more nitpick. Who the fuck were the two random reporters and why were they there? Besides for the tits, like what was that?
They're comic characters.
Okay,
like that's
but
that.
Why? Like there was no reason to have the sports guy and then the chick with her boobs hanging out. Why?
Why?
I mean, eye candy, I guess, but still, it's just like
They
did nothing except be there. They didn't. I don't think they even had very many lines.
No, I mean not a ton, but they had their moments. Like like whatever. Her talking to Lois about her boyfriend gives you some background. They also made him look like an asshole a little bit, so that later when he's getting fucking abused in the pod, you don't feel bad for him. I
need to see it again and pay attention to them because I was so focused on Lois and Jimmy, my guy.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah. No. And then I call him Bunk because it was his character's name in The Wire. Playing Perry was great.
Yeah.
Because I love that actor. So
yeah.
He was underutilized, but like there's no I'm not
you didn't have enough Clark to use him.
Yeah, I'm not complaining because like there's not you didn't really need him for the story, but I just love that actor so much. I would have loved to see more of him.
I think that would be great if Gunn went the direction of Superman 2 is more balancing the life of Clark and Superman versus this one was very much finding his identity as Superman.
Yeah.
Dealing with the stuff with his biological parents and Lex and everything like that.
I will also say very interesting, like comic book history said earlier about the whole parent thing being similar to the Batman.
Yeah.
There's almost no Bruce Wayne in the Batman either, and there's almost no Clark Kent in this movie. So
exactly.
Just kind of interesting to me, those small, I don't know, similarities.
I have two last things. One, I looked it up, just curious where it's sitting. Box Office Mojo has it the eighth highest grossing movie of 2025 so far.
Yeah.
And it's still going to have more. So,
yeah,
that's good.
I'm definitely happy to see it doing well, for sure.
Absolutely.
I
know there's a lot of hate out there. My last thing, I mean, I love this movie. I don't know if I've even said that on record yet. I love this movie. I know we are getting a new Batman in the DCU. but just hypothetically speaking, how well do you think Cornsweat's Superman and Pattinson's Batman would mesh for you?
It's hard to say because
They are vastly different.
because they're different worlds, and,
Right.
and I don't mean that in terms like, oh, John's saying these are different universes. They are literally so different in their DNA that it's like I don't know that Batman can see Superman. It just I feel like it would short circuit the universe a little bit.
I feel the same. Like initially, I was like, "Oh, it's going to be great" because they're both about hope. Like that was the whole thing with the Batman is that at the
but
end
it's
of
too
it,
grounded.
Yes,
Superman would
but that's
not
how
make
that's how
sense in
Batman
that.
kind of started, and then he gets into the more fantastical when he is introduced to Superman and progressively goes into the Justice League and everything. I am perfectly okay with a more established and aged Batman.
Yeah.
Meeting a young Superman and everything.
I really want the established thing because I want to see like the Bat family and some of these other elements.
yeah.
That, like I'm kind of getting tired of always seeing the same things, and that gets to one of my last points is the jumping right in aspect of this. The fact that like both Lex and Lois already had an established relationship was wonderful, and it skipped what we've done so many times. Like we don't need like Lois like understanding who Superman is again. That's been happened 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
We don't need to see Lex that's maybe even hates Superman, but it's still like an initial like, what the fuck is this on my planet type thing.
Yeah.
Like it's one that he's been around for a couple of years, and it's like there's this deep seated just, and like I feel like in both cases Gunn was perfectly right to just jump past some shit, go a couple years in, because I think in both those cases Lex and Lois ended up so much better off because we didn't start at the beginning again.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's because, oh, I hate origin stories, although I'd never want to see Superman's origins again, but also it's just a matter of like we've seen that first date for Lex and Lois with Superman. Why do we keep seeing that? Let's see what it looks like down. I've said the same thing about Joker over the years. I'm so sick of the beginning of Joker and Batman. Give me a fucking trilogy of it so I could see like it grow, or show me what is the DCU Batman that's going to be on his 4th Robin. What does that look like with Joker? Because now that's a Joker that he's been encountering for decades.
I mean,
like,
that's one of the nice
show
things
that to me.
That's one of the nice things about the Batman is that Joker's in Arkham.
Yeah.
Batman's already locked him up.
Yeah. So
So
show me that.
Show me what Joker breaking out of Arkham looks like.
Yes.
Instead of the first time being put into Arkham.
Yeah.
I like that.
and-
That's
and-
a good point.
And I think in this, it proved to me in this one, it works so fucking well in the 2 primary relationships for Superman. Both worked radically better, and with Lois to have like that strife of like she's kind of like gonna break up with him, she even mentions later, but it's like they're kind of like she's not sure it's gonna work. She's not really a relationship type person, which is perfect for Lois, by the way.
Absolutely.
And then for Lex to have this deep seated, like all of this entire fucking movie was about him bringing him down and killing him.
Yeah, it's such
Like,
it's such a breath of fresh air because it's not something that's really been done. What does Lex and Superman's relationship look like after 10 years?
Yeah. And this
is 3 years.
This is
so
3, and
it's a stepping stone.
It's still so much better than that initial first year, even like year 1.
Wait,
like,
what is this thing flying around my city?
yeah,
Superman, you say? No.
Yeah.
Like, I get what you're saying. That's been done so much. Let's do 3 years down the road.
yeah,
What does that look like? What has Lex done in 3 years to counter Superman?
yeah. And he's learned all of his moves.
He's
like,
only built a fucking
clone.
pocket universe.
Pocket universe.
thing.
I mean, there's multiple levels of this where it's like this couldn't have happened if it were year 1 Superman.
Exactly.
And like I think that's what's the strength of this movie is that there was all those things this feels like an already existing universe.
Yeah, imagine the first time when Batman in the DCU is on screen and Penguin shows up and he's like, Penguin, how'd you get out of Arkham? I fought you before, kind of thing. There's already going to be established relationships with the Rogues Gallery.
And the Batman did that a little bit too.
We're not going to need origin stories for
everything. Yeah.
That's going to be so refreshing if they keep doing that.
Yeah, and I think they will. I think there's going to be some things that will necessitate origins when you start to get into some of the lesser known characters, like Blue Beetle. That's got to be an origin. I know that wasn't Guns, but like if Blue Beetle were coming out next year, I almost think you got to, because it's so. I mean, and maybe it's not you got to, but I do think you might on some if they're whatever. I don't know.
Do we need to see Flash's origin?
No.
Do we need to see Green Lantern? No, we didn't. Guy Gardner's already got the ring.
Yeah.
Now, do we need to see Jon Stewart's origin?
And I think we will. It sounds like
think
they've already confirmed that
that's-
Hal's an
that's-
older guy. It's an
that's
older actor. He's like
that's
50s.
the point of Lanterns is that that Jon Stewart is becoming Green Lantern.
Yeah.
and
So
there
it's-
already is two.
It's like
others
the Ant-Man thing.
Yeah.
You got the old Ant-Man, and then you got the young.
passing the torch.
Yeah, exactly. One of the last things I wanted to mention: iconic
Yeah.
shots. I don't think we've seen this from Gunn before,
Mm-hmm.
but like the shooting the logo twice early in the
Yeah.
movie and late in the movie. The early one turns into the title card.
Yeah.
Later you see it, and then that shot with the lady after the building coming down on
Mm-hmm.
her car on the bridge, and when she looks back in her mirror and just coming out of the fucking dust is just the
Superman.
silhouette of him.
Yeah.
Just fucking incredible. Like just absolutely perfection.
I'm not gonna lie. I was a fan of the flight. The flight shots.
Yeah, the flight was good
Mm-hmm.
too. But I feel like we've also we yeah. I liked it for sure, but I feel like flight is something we see with every Superman. With like the
Yes.
iconic shots, though, that's something that it's hard to do too, because sometimes you try for iconic shots and it comes out cheesy as fuck, and it's like, the fuck were you doing here? Are you just trying to get like a trailer shot?
Yep.
And Gunn just did it perfect here, and I just wanted to give him credit because I don't know that we've got that in Guardians, because I don't think that Guardians calls for those kind of like, because there's no iconic nature of like 80 years of people don't know that's fucking Star-Lord, right?
Yeah.
Like they're these ragtag whatever, and like, so for Gunn to now be handling Superman and treat it with the element of like the iconography, the fact that he barrel rolls at one point and like slow-mos over the fucking logo, it's like, dude, wonderful. This is perfection.
Yeah. I did see someone online in a podcast complaining about the logo. I will.
It's not my overall favorite.
It's
I've seen
not-
worse.
What he was saying is, it's not an S. It's a line.
No, worse than that. Go look at the fucking My Adventures of Superman.
Oh,
That
yeah?
logo is terrible. I can't. Like, I feel like I would waste half of every episode just staring at the logo trying to find the S. This is similar to it, but I feel like it's cleaner than that one. Yeah.
That one looks more like an S than this one.
I don't know. Not me.
It's got something going down and coming up.
I don't like
this.
it.
This doesn't look anything like an S.
I don't like that one much. This one I'm fine with. It's not my all-time favorite. It's the classic, which is hard to say because it's like, I think there's as many Superman logos as there are Batman logos.
I think the Superman has more.
So to say classic, but like the one that everyone thinks of is my favorite one. In fact, I'm very close to pulling the trigger on getting a tattoo of the Superman logo. The last thing I want to say, DCU, I have very high hopes at this point.
Let's go.
I'm a lot of high hopes. Like I said, I'm now wanting to jump back in and go watch Peacemaker. I know there's been some animated stuff, some TV stuff that's all in the DCU. I haven't decided if I'm going to go full hog on all the stuff, but I do definitely want to jump into Peacemaker and Supergirl. I'm super excited for, and I can't wait to see what else is coming down the pike.
I just added a new soundbite to our list. There's 3 on there now.
Oh, I didn't look between this episode and last.
Got
So
a new one. We need a Deadpool. Let's fucking go.
Deadpool or Wolverine?
Oh, Deadpool. It's got to be Wade. Come on.
Oh man. All right, so that is it for this episode. Yeah, I think we both had a lot of fun with this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I'm over the moon. I've seen it twice. I should have been 3 times by now, but I'm
Yeah,
lazy.
you'll go tomorrow.
I'm getting lazy. No, the problem is now is Eddington, the new is Ari Aster movie is out, and then fucking I Know What You Did Last Summer. Both came out this weekend, so I'm like, as much as I want to go see Superman again, I just saw it a second time, but it's like, as much as I want to see it a third time, I got 2 fucking horror movies that probably won't be in theaters long. If I don't go see them now, I probably won't see them in theaters.
Fantastic
so.
Four comes out.
And exactly, and Fantastic Four's next weekend, goddammit. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the emails. If you want to email the show, where's my pedal? There it is. You can hit us up at peter@geekeryabides.com or Tad, T-A-D-D, at geekeryabides.com. That is the way to contact the show. If you're not in the live chat, that is the way to have your voice heard. And the next time is my episode, actually.
Yeah.
Which, thank you for, I mean, we would have traded episodes. This is going to be Superman one way or the other.
It was
and
fine.
just like that, next time, there's no question, right?
Yeah.
It is Fantastic Four, the first steps. One of the heaviest things that we've been covering since the beginning of this podcast is the development of this and Daredevil Born Again. And we covered Daredevil Born Again, obviously. And, of course, we're going to talk about
We're going to
Fantastic
throw
Four.
it out there also. This is going to be just, wait, is that right?
What?
August 2nd?
Yes. Right, that's the next episode.
No, isn't it?
No,
Is
we're on
it?
we're the 19th. August 2nd is the next episode.
Oh, shit. Never mind.
Superman and Fantastic Four came out between episodes. So it's
I was
the week
gonna
after.
say, I thought we had Fantastic Four and then an episode. Never mind.
Yeah, no.
My apologies.
Yeah, this whole month we have the 2 big movies, but both of our episodes are a week after, which is kind of cool. It gives us a buffer.
It gives
but-
people a chance to
Yeah, but yes, next time, which is August 2nd.
That's right. I have something else going on that Saturday after Fantastic Four. That's what I was thinking of. Not recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, August 2nd, Fantastic Four First Steps, talking about it. Can't wait. I'm super excited for it. Also, what the fuck kind of wonderful world are we living in the terms of pop culture, where we have this Superman movie and hopefully a very good Fantastic Four movie coming out 2 weeks apart.
Hearing nothing but good things about it, so
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Indeed. And I will sign off as I always do by saying, let your geek flag fly high, or your Superman flag.
Yep.
Superman.
Superman.
And love what you love, and to hell with anyone that has will say anything to you about guilty pleasures. It's nonsense.
Just be the best person that you can. Be like Superman.
Not like crypto.
Not like crypto.
Don't be like crypto.
Don't be like crypto.
Don't be a menace.
Don't be a menace. Be like Superman.
If you want to hurt Lex Luthor, though, go ahead, because he pissed me off in this movie. So
He hurt crypto. He just, yeah.
it's not even that. He's an asshole in this whole movie. So. All right. See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
All right, everyone in the chat, thank you all for joining. Thanks for being part of the chat. And yeah, it's good stuff. Very, very fun episode. And I'm expecting another fun episode next week for Mr.
In 2 weeks.
Or next episode, yeah. Fantastic Four First Steps.
You missed a chance to say Fortnite, Tad. What is wrong with you?
Did I accidentally say next week?
You did say next week.
Oh, yeah. Same bat time, same bat channel, right? Why did you say that name?
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Batman in the DCU now.
Oh, I know. Me too. Very excited. All right. See you guys.
Bye, everyone.